I
A tombstone chiseled into the code of a machine. That is all I need to mark my existence.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Chud Watch. We did Chud Watch yesterday, but I wanted to do something a little bit different today. Today I wanted to do a special Chud Watch where we look at a specific variety of Chud. Now this kind of Chud is... how do I put this? They're sort of the offspring of Jeremy. The Quartering is sort of Alpha Chud Media Watch. And then there's like all these subordinate channels often smaller than Jeremy, but they put out the same kind of content, to the extent that a lot of their, like, this person's thumbnails, they're literally just aping Jeremy's thumbnail style. Look at this. This is Jeremy's. You got the black on the left with the text, with the with the red text, and the stuff on the right. And this dude is literally just doing the same thing. So, they do the same kind of stuff. They put out videos on absolutely ridiculous rumors and bait angry young white dudes to come and watch their videos that are going to say ridiculous things like, oh, Disney's going to completely change Star Wars. It's going to erase the movies that you don't like.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Cotton Candy 903 with 10 bits. Oh no, beta chuds. Le Poupon with 24 bits says it's my 5-year wedding anniversary and we're staying at a really nice hotel and there are so many Pokemon here on Pokemon Go. Help me, I have a gaming problem. And then Doc Jenar, thank you for following. So these channels will cover most often Star Wars, Star Trek. Why can I not get this to stay? They cover most often like Star Wars, Star Trek, the Marvel movies. This guy in particular. Remember the other day when I did the quartering thing and his source was this guy called Doomcock? This is Doomcock. So we're going to check out some of his stuff because he puts out absolutely the most ridiculous lies about Star Trek and Star Wars. And then I found some other ones. If anyone has any channels like this that you know of, and you know the genre I'm talking about, the one where they talk about the media, they talk about Star Wars and Star Trek and, you know, nerd fodder, and then they'll have like a thumbnail that's like, oh, it's bad, and there's the SJWs, and there's this kind of stuff. So if you know any channels like this, let me know, because this might become a regular thing. I don't know what I'm going to call this particular series yet, if it'll just be like a subset of Chud Watch, but the idea of watching these channels makes sense to me, because they are Chuds, they just happen to talk about media instead of politics, and it's almost like a proxy war in the culture war, if you want to put it that way. Instead of directly talking about how they hate gay and trans people, they talk about how they hate representations of them in the media. Cosmic Sean 92 with 100 bits. Speaking of Disney, I'm stoked that a live-action Mulan was made. I'm not a big fan of the live-action remakes, but hey, if you like them, I'm glad that you're excited for it. When we do a cleanse, could we do a little something with Chadwick in it? Maybe. I don't know, I'm pretty depressed about that, honestly. That sucks so bad. I assume everyone heard at this point, but Chadwick Boseman of Black Panther fame unfortunately passed away from colon cancer, which he is apparently he was fighting like throughout filming Black Panther and Civil War and the Avengers movies that he was in. Really sad stuff. Very, very unfortunate. Thrash Mio with 30 bits. I love that they have their NPC meme to make fun of the left, while being the same person with slight variations, like a certain kind of thing in a video game. Winter O'Hare, 25 bits. Hey Hannah, catching a stream because I woke up early and can't get back to sleep. Well, hopefully my calming tones will be able to get you back into the REM sleep. Altered Rin with 5 bits. Have some ad bits while I work on a drawing of my new D&D character, a demon-born pyromaniac sorcerer. Fun. A nice name might be Not Far From the Tree. Maybe. I don't think that's very descriptive as to what it is, though. I want people to kind of get the gist, like just from looking at the title. Make his performance in those movies even more impressive. Rest in peace, Chadwick. Yeah. Really, really sucks. That sucks so much. Especially considering, like, Black Panther is, like, this huge, like, cultural phenomenon, and it was, like, the first, like, really big, and I know Blade exists, but let's be real, Blade was not nearly as big as, like, Black Panther. It was this huge thing, and he was, like, the first big African-American, or, I guess, Chadwick's African-American, but, like, he's the first black superhero of prominence, let's say, because he's Wakandan, not American. And And I imagine a lot of kids were able to see themselves, you know, in Black Panther, in a way they might not for Iron Man, if they're, you know, not white kids or whatever. Like, representation matters, and it sucks so much that, like, getting this huge, like, really nice guy, he would go out and, like, do Make-A-Wish stuff and, like, meet kids who also had cancer, and he was struggling with it at the time, and no one knew. Really great guy, and it's really sad that he left so soon. But, anyway. I don't know what they're... And it's way too soon to talk about this, so we're not going to get into it. But I'm very curious what's going to happen with the Marvel movies moving forward, because it was pretty clear that Black Panther was going to be a big part of it. So I'm wondering what they're going to do, but that's a discussion for later. That's not something that needs to be discussed right now. Just for now, you know, I'm sure all our thoughts go out to the family and everyone close to him, because it's just such a tragedy. Cancer sucks. Winter O'Hare with 25 bits. With Blade, I like it, but within his movie, he's still hated. Black Panther is beloved by his people, and many others, a king complete with different view. Yeah, true. That's also a good point. Zandil with 3 bits. I hated hearing about Chadwick since I found out a former coworker was recently diagnosed with colon cancer as well. F cancer into the ground, yeah. Sad. Sad stuff. Anyway... So here are the channels that I have pulled up for this special edition of Chud Watch. Maybe it'll just be like Chud Media Watch. I don't know. Yeah, instead of... We normally do Sovereign Citizens on Saturdays, but I kind of felt like doing this instead. And it's my show, so that's the thing. I get to dictate it, I guess. It's a special Chud Watch where we're looking at these media channels. So let's see. We have The Quartering. We have this guy who does crazy videos on Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff, and he just makes outright lies, and he wears this helmet. We have this guy, Yellow Flash, we have Midnight's Edge, we have Mike Zero, and Nerdrotic. So, does anyone have any other channels like this that they're aware of that they would like me to look at? If so, I'll kind of queue them up and put them in my folder for this, because I want it to be maybe a regular thing, because as much as I like doing regular Chud Watch, I might even divide them. So, like, regular Chud Watch might focus more on, like, the John Doyles and stuff when they're talking about, like, actual real-world politics and stuff. Is his Twitch gone? Who? Jeremy's? No BS? Oh, that's one. No BS and Undoomed. Undoomed. Has Undoomed even made a video recently? YouTube. No BS. Anyway, like I was saying, I might divide Chud Watch into regular Chud Watch, which will be like actual politics and stuff. Undoomed is on Twitch now, I think. Someone, oh, just for a week, not permanently banned. Wait, who got banned from Twitch for a week? You gotta be more specific. Undoomed hasn't done anything in months, yeah. Chud Logic. Oh, why'd Chud Logic get banned for a week? Obowan with 100 bits. Possible series name in Justice League. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Would we consider Lily Orchard as a Chud? I'm not sure. I don't know who that is, actually. NBA players. Breonna Taylor. Ellen DeGeneres. Trump's convention. Obama. A lot of these seem like actual politics stuff. I'll save them under Chuds, but I don't see a ton of media stuff that's occasional. Like, there's a Wonder Woman one, there's an MTV thing, but, like, most of this looks like general politics stuff. But I'll save them under Chud. And then the other one was Undoomed, I think. Lily Orchard is a bully. What about Liberty Hangout? Yeah, that'd be under Chud Watch. Because again, Chud Watch, the general one, will be like actual politics, which Liberty Hangout falls under, John Doyle falls under, Sargon falls under, and then this special like media Chud Watch would be under when people are like talking about like get woke, go broke. That would be like The Quartering and people like him. Fierstein. No one cares about Josh Fierstein, ever. I'm not covering him. He only posts things to Facebook now anyway, and I'm not using Facebook video. So anyway, let me see, what was the other one? It was Undoomed. I don't think Undoomed has done anything in quite a while. Undoomed. Birthday stream a month ago, 2 months ago, 2 months ago, yeah. He's not doing anything. I don't know where Undoomed went. Maybe he's just streaming on Twitch or something, although I don't see a link to his Twitch in the bar up here. But, not exactly someone who puts out a ton of content anymore. Fierstein is still around. Yeah, he's on Facebook video or Facebook Live or whatever. ChudLogic watched something that violated Twitch TOS. Some video of people saying the F slur. That'll do it. You found out that Steve Shives blocked you. Yeah, he uses a lot of blockchain things. Or, you know what I'm talking about. We need a special name for pop culture chuds to differentiate. Yeah. We're segregating the kinds of chuds now. I just think it makes sense, because some people might be into this kind of thing, but they might not be into listening to John Doyle talk about whatever for however long, you know? Does The Amazing Atheist do media stuff? That's a good question. Watching Jake review The Quarter and getting drunk was funny. Let me see what The Amazing Atheist has done recently. The Amazing Atheist. I've heard TJ's gotten better too. Nonetheless, an audit might be in order. There he does a Josh Fierstein thing. Cardi B triggers the right. Yeah. I don't see anything worth looking at. I don't know. Maybe we'll go into his stuff sometime. Guar Stoneskin, thanks for subscribing. 4-month streak, thank you. Okay. What do you guys want first? We have the Quartering, we have this Overlord guy, we have Yellow Flash, Midnight's Edge, Mike Zero, and Nerdrotic. What do you think? Jeremy. I assume Jeremy will win, because it's the only one we've done before and people are familiar with. Let me see what's recent from Jeremy that's even worth it. Oh no. My wife is away, so I get to play spicy video games, Jeremy uploaded 5 minutes ago. Jeremy. So 1 vote for Yellow Flash, 2 votes for Jeremy. Okay. So this is Jeremy's video entitled, My Wife is Away, so I get to play spicy video games. I guess maybe she had another craving for pizza and didn't want to bring him again. And apparently the Quartering can only play certain video games when his wife is gone, which I think speaks to an unhealthy relationship. But I'm gonna assume he's being facetious. So, let's see what the Quartering is doing with this, I guess.
Last time on Arcade.
Whoa! Ho, ho.
I have no idea what game this is that he's playing.
Oh no!
Looks like a JRPG, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like JRPGs.
Well, what's up, gamers? How about some more game?
What's up, gamers? 40-year-old man in his basement here with toys behind him. Let's get it going with these spicy video games. Not gonna drink today because I don't want to clog up my drain with my chunky 40-year-old man pee.
Play. I'm actually
I don't know what Chunky P would look like.
refiring up ArcAge Unchained because they have a brand new expansion
Cosmic Sean 92 with 100 bits. Hello, fellow kids.
called Garden of the Gods. It features
I don't know why I said Chunky P.
a brand new zone, obviously called Garden of the Gods, 59 new storyline quests, new NPCs, new encounters, a new raid, new
Is this sponsored? Is this a sponsored video? He's talking about this like he has a script that was sent to him.
gear, new awakened world boss gear, and hero-led castle upgrades.
This has to be a paid-for promotional video, right?
I got into this game a little while back when they reached out to the channel
Yep.
to sponsor last time.
There we go.
And this time,
Sponsored content. You gotta get that nice sponsored content in. Dude Spanking Dude says, Hand of the funniest stuff happened. So a streamer yesterday was playing GT4, Gran Turismo 4. He was causing havoc. Oh god, the chat keeps moving. He was causing havoc, having fun. The streamer accidentally bumps into both a police officer and a black guy. The police officer NPC immediately points the gun at the black guy, despite the black guy NPC not doing anything. Everyone in chat was saying, just like real life, and that's beautiful. Yeah, I've seen plenty of videos like that. GTA has done the same joke before, too. Not joke, but people have made the same joke when there's a certain weird NPC interaction.
realized how much I actually missed the game.
I don't find that stuff funny. I just find it depressing.
They have two versions. Obviously, some people ask, oh, there's a free-to-play version, and then there's Unchained, which is not free-to-play, but...
So when he titles this and he says, my wife is away, so I get to play spicy video games, what he really means is, so the check cleared, so let's do some sponsored content.
that's what I have.
I'll put spicy in the title, so my virgin fans will want to click on it, because nothing gets them revved up like boobs on a big screen and Jeremy's delicious bearded face on a tiny screen. Le Poupon with 100 bits. I'm drunk and love you all, especially you, Hannah. Have a good stream. Alright, don't pee on your basement floor. Don't get that drunk.
So here I am in the forest, just chilling. You'll notice Soylamander is a very bold character.
Soylamander. Is that a soy boy joke? Wow, Jeremy. He got the edgiest humor from 2015 coming at ya.
Some of you may be asking why I've fired up the game again. Well, they have a free summer trial that ends September 2nd.
Ooh, is Jeremy's revenue super down or something? Why is he selling out this hard? And hey, oh, we're on a hype train, level 1. Thank you, everyone. MMO Addicted with 50 bits. I'm not drunk, but I am tipsy as my grandma gave me some of her homemade cherry liqueur. Oh, boy. What was I saying? Oh, BD Kappa, thank you for subscribing. 4-month streak, awesome. So, is Jeremy, like, really broke or something? Did he used to do, like, I guess I don't remember him doing a ton of, like, sponsored content, and I say a ton, but I've never seen him do, like, a full video sponsored content thing before. It's kind of weird.
Follow the link in the pinned comment or in the description to get the free trial, hop in the game, and play with me. I'll be online all day Sunday.
Obowan with 100 bits. The fact that Jeremy's playing this game means I won't play it.
Okay. Well, let's go talk to
So this is like a Japanese
I'm gonna talk to
MMORPG
you.
or something?
Ekkad.
Zandil,
There's
thanks
a lot
for
of
gifting
different
a sub.
classes in this game and a lot of different characters that you can kind of pick from. The mini-map's nice and intuitive, too. Some more from there as I make this walk. There's actually 220 interchangeable classes, which allows you to experiment, swap, and discover classes to fit any playstyle.
Oh no.
All with the same.
I get that, like, sponsored content is a thing, but, like, even in terms of sponsored content, this is bad. I don't feel like Jeremy's having a good time. I feel like he's like, okay, I gotta get, like, 10 minutes worth of footage and read this script they emailed me. Oh, Jeremy. That's sad. I feel like
There's
he's...
nothing funny
I almost
about
feel
the
like there's
tools
a
of capitalism.
capitalistic gun to his head. It's like, you got bills to pay, Jeremy. You best read the script! DM Trey, shut up and take my bits. Thank you. MW1642 with 300 bits. For the train! Thank you. 31% of level 2.
Character. So we have some Lakeside Flamingos here. What level are they? 6? Should I handle it? Battle start. Pretty easy, I'd say. Everything's real intuitive.
Cotton Candy
If you've
903,
played
bits for
MMOs
hats.
before.
Thank you.
Normally I like to... I'm more story orientated when I play games like this. Like,
There's nothing
even
funny about the
in
tools of
other
capitalism.
MMOs that I've played. I don't really... Raiding and stuff like that isn't the way I play the game, but it doesn't matter however you
Obo
want
one
to
with
play.
100 bits, train gang, thank you.
Some more they say. So Arc Age Unchained from their promotional material says, enjoy new game experience.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Jeremy, okay, usually, and I get it, I know, if you need the money, I understand, but, like,
Nothing
usually with
funny about the
sponsored
tools of
content,
capitalism.
you want to, like, maybe do a little ad read at the beginning, and then you just do a general playthrough of the game, and maybe you memorize some of the stuff on there, not verbatim, but while you're playing, if you come across, like, let's say you're doing the character creation. Maybe you do like, oh, and they have, you know, such and such class, whatever. You know what I mean? You try and sound genuine. You don't read off a piece of paper and literally
There's
show
nothing
people
funny
you're
about
reading
the
off
tools
it and
of
go,
capitalism.
they have 10 classes and 3 factions. I don't know anything about this game. But like what you do is you're like, the newest JRPG
There's nothing funny
MMO
about the tools of
with so many
capitalism.
things. You do the ad read and then you play. Maybe you start with the character creation, because that's a pretty easy way to get a lot of the talking points in without it sounding unnatural. You're like, oh, look at how many classes, look at how many
Nothing
races,
funny
look at how
about
much
the
fun
tools
this
of
is.
capitalism.
Then you start, you get some gameplay. You try and have a natural progression of what you're doing, and you try and comment on it naturally. While you're playing, do not look down to your ad read and be like, oh, and there are 37 quests and 5 new raid bosses. Like, you're not making this game sound appealing. You can obviously tell that you're, like, doing an ad read. Dude spanking dudes, can we please look at Chud COVID stuff? That's not what we're doing today. Why do you always ask for things that are not the theme of the day?
Nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
MMO addicted with 25 bits. Insert the astronaut gun meme, so it's all a grift. It always has been. Freezer Bird with a tier 1 subscription, 4-month streak, 4 months with Hannah. Heck yeah. Keep being the amazing, outspoken, and lovely person that you are. Thank you. Obowan gifting a sub. Wow, thanks so much. Obowan gifting another sub. Awesome.
Experience Unchained is focusing on a fair monetization system and removes the barriers between you and the ultimate PvP experience.
Is
the entire
focusing
world
on a fair
of Arcade will be
monetization
available
system
after
and
just
exciting
one single
PvP action.
purchase. And that's what I did. They have the free-to-play stuff, but, well, I wasn't paying attention. I was just jibber-jabbering. Although...
Spicy!
Should I let him out? I need the cage key.
21%
Okay.
of level 3, by the way.
Well, back to where we were at. Oh, you could turn that off? That's kind of cool.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
So you use F to interact with a lot of stuff here. How the heck did I
Cosmic
just go
Sean
the
92
wrong
with
way
100
for so
bits.
long?
Jeremy is only
We
doing this because
can
nobody
complete
subbed to
the
his
quest.
Twitch channel.
What is on your
Yeah.
mind? Elcod Neville.
Tetsuyo Dragneil.
Halt! Are you Soylamander?
Forget this game
Stay
and
where
play
you
Final
are.
Fantasy
Physicians at the
14.
Field
It's
of
a
Honor
better
found
MMO.
evidence of poison in the night you fought. He died minutes after your duel. What do you have to say for yourself? What? I didn't do it! Oh, what? This can't be. I would never taint the Field of Honor with poison. Truly believe you fought with honor, climb to the tower in the Sacred Plaza and find Anor. Tell him exactly what happened and maybe he can resolve this matter. Okay. You train with Harpa, so I don't believe you'll run. But if you do, I swear there's nowhere I can't find you. Alright, fine. So let's climb the tower. That's what I need. Oh, over here, I think. And I've never been a big PvP guy. I've often, thought about rolling a character like that.
This is edited down, by the way, so this is like the good stuff. This is the most fun he could find in the gameplay that he played. 10 minutes of it, and he's just walking around.
But, I don't know. It seems so intense. Like, I work so hard on getting my character just right. I don't like when they fall in battle. Training Scarecrow. Here he is. Oh no, these are just new missions. Did you hear about Anno? Some days ago he started raving about the goddess and she came to... Okay. I think I saw them. Yep, I saw... We were just there. Yes. Hey, that worked out. Okay. That worked out, because we found that just a minute ago. What's this? Just shininess?
Look at that. That's nice and shiny.
Jump!
Is this a meme? Butterfly. Random clip. Someone make that.
Or is it leading
Someone
me
knows what I'm talking
to
about.
my doom? I'm totally... Soilamander's totally crushing his Fitbit group right now. You're getting so mad. This is about 45 flights of stairs here in one.
Oh no. That's... Oh god, I gotta watch that joke again. Remember in the movie Joker, when the Joker went down the stairs? Is it a joke to reference a thing that happened in a movie? This is what happens when you watch Family Guy. Or the Nostalgia Critic, I guess.
What's this? Okay. Okay, so here's something cool too. Now I can learn a new skill set and I've got 2 new skill points. So this part...
By the way, this might be a good... I have no idea if this is good MMORPG. It might be. I'm not really an MMO person in general. I don't like it. The closest I'll get is like stuff like GTA Online or Red Dead Online, which are a little similar, but they tend to have, smaller servers and the worlds work a little differently than your typical MMO. I just can't do it, so maybe it's good. What I am criticizing here is not the game. It's Jeremy trying to do a sponsored content on it and failing. That's what I don't like about this, is I think he's not doing a good job selling the game that he's being paid to promote.
It is super robust, just so much. So you have combat, you have ancestral, basic. So if we go here, we have 7 archery skill combos, and we've got our passive stuff. All of our ranks for our different
Thanks for the hype train,
proficiencies,
everyone.
which I haven't really got into yet, but it's obviously a lot of stuff you can do. You have a wide variety of emotes. Let's see here. So you can learn a new skill set at level 15. I'm at level 7 right now. He's a powerful mage, currently investigating the body of the fallen knight. Only he can prove your innocence.
Actually, I have played Star Trek Online too. That one's okay. But that's mostly just because I really like Star Trek and I like doing the ship combat and I think it's fun. But
What is this?
even so, it's not the most in-depth game out there.
What is this? Guilty until proven innocent? Baloney. Baloney sausage. Down we go. Down, down, down we go. They have Arch Passes. So Arcade Unchained features a new system that called Arch Pass.
Jeremy, you promised me spicy
Nothing funny about the
content.
tools of capitalism.
Where are the gamer boobs? All I see are elves. Cosmic Shaw 92. Thank you for gifting a sub. I appreciate that.
Every 3 months, every 3-month season, players have access to 3 different passes tweaked for the major gameplay styles, such as combat, vocation, and equipment. Completing.
Hey guys, did I tell you about how much I like Tums? Tums. For your tummy, when it's in trouble, eat some Tums on the double. Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Oh, no, that's copyright infringement. That's the wrong medicine. Take it when your stomach is all acidy. And then you'll be good. Tums. Buy it. Was that a good ad read, guys? I learned everything I know from Jeremy.
Missions and arch passes merely grant cosmetic items. No items to give you an advantage over players whatsoever are obtainable. That's great to hear. I've never been a cosmetics person.
Not sponsored by Tums, by the way. I just have a lot of acid problems.
But, you know, sometimes you see somebody kind of decked out, and you start to kind of question your life, wondering like, why are they so much better than you in every conceivable way? So yeah, okay. So here's the cages or whatever. Yeah, there we go. Let's let these let's you know, free these people from. Let's actually, you know, let's do a good thing here. Let's just go ahead and let you out. There you go.
That's one reason I can't get into MMOs too, is like, a lot of missions, I mean, there's combat, which is usually not very complex combat. You have, you know, some action skills or whatever that you have hotkeyed, and you press them and it does the action. The combat isn't satisfying. It's just like stats going down, you know, as you have certain abilities that'll trigger a very basic animation that'll look like an attack or whatever. And all video games are this to an extent, but MMOs are really, really stripped back because they have to be, because there's so much going on in the server at a time. And then there's stuff like this, where it'll be like, go to this location, do this thing, and half the time, more than half the time, it'll be like, alright, go up to the cage, or in the case of like Star Trek Online, it'll be like, go up to the computer and do the thing, and you just press an activate button, and your character vaguely does motions over the thing, as like a circle or something completes the action, because it takes a little bit of time, and maybe if you get attacked, it'll stop the action. And then the thing happens, and then you move on to the like, the quests aren't interesting to me.
There you go, Flamingo. Be free. How about you? Go ahead. Be free, dear. So the main... I'm at level 7, close to level 8. The main part of this game, the story mode, will lead you all the way to the Blue Salt Brotherhood and their quests, which start from level 30... and they're going to introduce you into a huge amount of professions and features. Can you help me? I came here to convince my friend Lone to abandon all the sea goddess nonsense. He stormed off back towards a lake. Alright, fine. Well, maybe I should just clear my name first. It's like when you're on an airplane. When you're on an airplane, you affix your mask first. So while you're in the Blue Salt Brotherhood, you get introduced into alchemy, weaponry, and more. You receive an 8x8 scarecrow, which can be placed at one of the housing zones, which are marked on your map with little house icons, so you can start your farming career. Ah, soy limp.
Tatsuyo Dragneil with 5 bits. To be honest, what I don't like about MMOs is the open world and having to play with random people, but Final Fantasy XIV has been good to play with my boyfriend, and we're in different states. Yeah, sure, I get that. I guess I just don't care for, like, social I don't like the fact that the games tend to be super, super stripped back as to concede to the social aspects. And if I'm playing a game with someone, I want it to be like me and that person. There can be other people on the server, but like, I don't want a game with 500 people on the server. I don't care to have that many people. It doesn't add anything for me. I'd rather have a game where maybe there's like 20, 30 people there, but the game's still like a good game.
I was
MMO addicted with 25 bits. Oh god, I am in a D&D session right now. I rolled 4 crits in a row and destroyed the boss in a single turn. Holy crap, that's awesome. What are the chances of that? That's like 1 in 20 times 1 in... That's 5% times 5% times 5% times 5%. That's pretty impressive.
was waiting for you.
So Fallout 76, but not trash? Basically. Like my examples where I play GTA Online and Red Dead Online. I think at max you have like 20, 30 people in servers for that. And that's pretty much ideal for me. I'm fine having other people around, but like, I don't need a ton.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
How can you
capital.
accuse me with no evidence? I have your competition blade here, still wet with poison that slew your opponent. With your help, we should be able to put this sordid affair to rest. Also, in the Eye of Truth to detect any traces of poison on your person. Use it, and we can finally prove your innocence or guilt. I am. There we go. I like how they put it right in the quest like that. Like, so you don't have to go digging around for stuff. Congratulations! The Eye of Truth found no evidence. Soylamander, you've proved your innocence, but now I'm afraid I need your help. After all of this? No. I got other stuff to do. Nope. I'm gonna go, let's investigate the source of the light. Because, you know what,
I don't even know the name of this game, by the way. It says somewhere in the description, probably. Arcade is the name of the game. Not a very good ad, if I don't remember the name.
I got other stuff to do than help elves, help people that were accusing me. So the Garden of the Gods will really just be an entire new zone. Oh, investigate the source of the light. Oh no! A fetid conch lies near the body's outreached hand. You could blow in it if you choose. Why would I want to do that? Alright.
See, like, you need more of that. You need more, if you want to make the game look fun, even if the game's not fun, you need to have someone who has humor. I'll take that as a joke. Like, that's kind of funny, like, in terms of a Let's Play ad, right? Like, oh, it's a conch that's next to a dead body. You could take it and blow in it, and then the reaction, of course, that you're going to have is like, why would I do that? That's funny. But you need to have the whole ad full of moments like that to make the audience think the game is fun. Like, even if the gameplay itself isn't fun, if you're watching someone have fun playing a game, it tells you, the audience, oh, this looks fun. He's having fun, therefore if I play the game, I'll have fun. That doesn't necessarily translate to the real world, but that's how advertising works. But instead, half this video is just Jeremy, like, talking in sort of a, okay, now we're doing this thing, now we're doing this, and then the other half is him reading from a piece of paper. Jeremy, there's nothing wrong with sponsored content. I get it, you gotta pay the bills, I respect that. You need some practice.
Ah! Oh, this is...
You need a highlight reel, not a straight Let's Play. Well, that's the thing, though. This is edited. This isn't straight through. It is, like, edited. It's just not, like, super edited. He's taking chunks, and if this is, like, the best out of what he had, then it doesn't seem like a very fun game.
This is an issue. Get wrecked.
I think that's a problem, too. Yeah, you need a streamer with personality. Jeremy has the personality of beige paint. I don't know if I'd go that far, but, like, people don't watch Jeremy, it doesn't seem to me, for his personality. They don't watch Jeremy or, like, enjoy his streams because they like his persona online. What people who like Jeremy, the 157,000 subscribers of Jeremy, what they like about him is that they talk about, like, anti-SJW stuff, and that he, like, makes videos that they think are funny about Brie Larson, right? So they're not, like, with him because of his personality or because of the commentary that he gives to video games, but because he'll get angry and justify their anger at things that they consider slights towards them, like Brie Larson saying that there should be more female or people of color in the reviewer industry. Like, and these things make them mad, and Jeremy is an outlet for that. But, like, he doesn't have, and I'm not going to pretend I am either. There's a reason I don't, like, play video games on this channel or do Let's Plays. I might someday and do just a general, like, Q&A while I'm playing a game or something. But I don't do that because it's a particular skill set to be able to pay attention to a game and play it while also providing interesting and entertaining content to people, and that's not something I'm capable of doing. Most people aren't. It's why people who are able to do it really, really well get paid ridiculous amounts of money on Twitch. And that's fine. That's a skill set in and of itself, and that's awesome. But, like, when you see someone do this who isn't good at it, it's borderline painful. Fear of Fernia with 10 bits. I'm Hannah, and this is my master class. I certainly wouldn't say that.
And then get looted.
In order to have a master class, I'd have to have literally any skill, which I don't have. So.
I like how you can combo up, too. That's pretty fun. Should we see if we could take on some...
Which I think, and this is interesting too. Jeremy, when he had his, like, meltdown on Twitch, and he deleted the VOD, but you can find it on YouTube. I think people mirrored it. where he got like really drunk and he was begging people for subscriptions. One of the weird things to me is he was like, if I could get to 1,000 subscribers, then I'd be fine and I'd be happy. And he's just like drunk. And it blew my mind that he doesn't have 1,000 subscribers with his built-in base of 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. The YouTube channel Jake and I have, Hannah and Jake, only has like 159 something thousand subscribers, right? I have almost half of 1,000 subscribers. I have like 400 something. How does Jeremy, who has a much bigger online presence than me, not have 1,000 subscribers? It's crazy, and I think it has to do with he's not, and he could get better at this, but I just don't think he's good at interacting with people or having like charisma in a streaming context. And again, I'm not bragging, I don't think I'm particularly good at it, but I think I'm capable of interacting with you guys and being engaging in this sort of format where we're kind of having a back and forth between myself and the chat and trying to look at content and having conversations about it. I think it's a skill in and of itself, and it's something that Jeremy needs to hone. He's used to being able to sit in front of a camera and just talk about, like, Brie Larson or whatever SJW thing that he doesn't like, and then editing it down, and just the anger itself will get people to click. Whereas in something like this on Twitch, you need to have that almost, like, skill of forming parasocial relationships with people, and I don't know if he's very good at it. Jake has, like, 1,700? I know, right? So Jeremy should have no problem getting to 1,000 subscribers. Like, that should be easy. He should get that in a week if he starts a Twitch, you know? All he has to do is make a YouTube video like, hey, I'm doing Twitch streams now. And it's not even like he's doing a thing that's completely separate on YouTube from Twitch. Like, maybe if he was like, let's say he's a channel on YouTube that discusses, I don't know, nothing but politics. He doesn't discuss media, or if he discusses, like, a certain kind of media that isn't gaming. Like, let's say he's a channel on YouTube that discusses Broadway musicals and in-depth reviews of them, and then he goes, I'm doing a Twitch channel. It might make sense for there not to be a one-to-one transfer of fans because they're very different things. But this should be Jeremy's fans' bread and butter. He talks about, like, nerdy stuff, Star Wars, Marvel, and video games. This is what his channel is about. So when he goes over to Twitch and he starts playing video games and doing commentary over them, that should be it. His fans who also watch Twitch, which I imagine a large portion of his audience uses Twitch based on the demographics that watch him, they should be like, yes, Jeremy doing a Twitch channel where he plays video games while talking about anti-SJW stuff? Perfect. This sounds ideal to me. But for some reason, it just doesn't click, right? Why does he not have that transference? And I think it has to do with his, I don't want to say his personality, because that's rude. His inability to connect with his audience on a personal level. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Get some combat.
Oh, yesterday was the anniversary of Power Rangers. Want someone ranting about the next Power Rangers film going woke? Yes. Yes, please.
So a couple.
Thank you. Power Rangers reboot reportedly features a majority female team. Oh, that'd be interesting. That's fine. Who cares? Like, there've been, like, how many Power Rangers teams have there been? Like, 25 at this point? How many Power Rangers teams are there? 20 teams? No, there's more than that now, I think. Although, I guess if you take away the fact that the first 3 seasons were Mighty Morphin, and if you don't count, like, Super Samurai as different than Samurai, or Super Megaforce as different than Megaforce, because they really aren't. They're just, like, almost like Battleizer modes. I suppose, yeah, it might be 20. That would make sense. So there have been something like 20, maybe a little bit more, Power Ranger teams. Let me see, Power Rangers Dino Fury. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's 21 Power Rangers teams. And they've all been majority male, if I remember correctly. If we get one team that happens to have more women than men, is it really that big of a deal? My goodness, who cares? dude spanking dudes with a bit. I still don't know who thought it was a good idea in the OG Power Rangers to have the black guy play the Black Ranger and an Asian person as the Yellow Ranger. Linkara's talked about this in his History of Power Rangers series, which is pretty good if you're into Power Rangers. Although if you're into Power Rangers, I'm sure you've seen it at this point. There's not a ton of Power Rangers YouTube content. So if you're into Power Rangers, I'm sure you know who Linkara is. But anyway, he talked about that, and there was an interview with the creators of the original season of Power Rangers, and it was an honest mistake. They had not realized that they had done that until, like, episode 3 or 4, and they were like, oh, no. And that's why they, in future castings, they rectified that. Like, in the, pilot for Power Rangers, it wasn't like that, so it was not intentional by any means. Tatsuyo Dragneel, don't tell them about the Super Sentai teams led by female Pink Rangers. I gotta watch Sentai at some point. I've heard Super Sentai is really good.
Back going here? Here we go. Oh, you dead. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Alright, okay. Yeah, let's go melee. Man, combat is fun.
Sure seems fun, Jeremy. That's what you gotta do to get people to think it's fun. The combat is fun. Whoa, 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 it's getting close to me. The combat is fun.
Yeah, get close. I mean, don't. We just fought our way here to the apothecary. What's up, girl? Please take the conch to Memorous Matthias in Lakeside. And 800 XP later. What about these little guys? Oh, that didn't feel good. That didn't feel good.
This sure is
It was
fun.
just a fox.
Yeah.
Let's get some fruit. You can get this. I think you can. Oh, hey. Whoa. Hey, level 9. So if you want to join me, I'd love to see you. You can add me on Steam. We can play together. I'm hoping that...
Dude Spanking Dude says, also, sorry to be sad, but yeah, we know. We talked about we talked about, Chadwick, passing away earlier in the video. It's an older video, but do you want, Chud complaining about tabletop mini war games? I mean, sure. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but yeah, I'll put it in my folder, at the very least.
You at least give the game a try. You know how Steam is. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. What's this? Oh, it's for making plate armor. Oh. And a lot of people, normally I do the little ad reads, and you guys are always great about that. But I thought, why not actually play the game? You all said that, you enjoy just the different kind of content. So why not some gameplay content? I'll be streaming it a little bit later if you follow me on Twitch at The Quartering. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
I do wonder how much he got paid for this, because it's a full 13-minute video that's an ad the whole way through, so I am curious. Anyway, the title's Complete Bait. He says, my wife is away, so I get to play spicy video games, and then the only thing that could be classified as even a little titillating was literally in, like, the first 5 seconds. He just had this.
Whoa! Ho, ho.
And that's it. That's it. 5 seconds in, and that's the end of the spicy content. And even that's not particularly spicy.
Last time
It's just like an
on
elf.
Arcade.
Whoa! Ho, ho.
Like, oh, look, there's an elf in a shirt, or a skirt, or a dress, or whatever this is. I guess I wasn't paying much attention. Oh, how spicy.
Oh.
And that's it. That's the spicy content. Weird. Whatever, Jeremy. I mean, do you. Just work on your ad reads. I think it would behoove you to do so. Elf, but with titties, yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough of Jeremy today. We cover Jeremy all the time. This video is about the people who copied Jeremy in order to try and get that sweet, sweet anti-SJW cash. So we have Overlord DVD. Overlord DVD comes up with the most insane Star Wars rumors that he claims are from a source inside, you know, Lucasfilm and Disney. And I don't think he's ever been right about anything. Like, I don't think he's ever had anything that was right. The one time he posted anything before it actually came out and it was accurate, I believe it was when Rise of Skywalker was about to come out, and it was about the plot details from that, but that wasn't like a source inside Disney that gave him that. Literally everyone had that. They got leaked online, the details about Rise of Skywalker, so he made a video about it, and then people were like, see, he's right! It's like, well, no. I mean, Burger King in Germany literally did an ad where they made fun of the spoilers and mentioned them. Everyone had access to these spoilers. So anyway, this guy, Overlord DVD, weirdo. Super duper weirdo. His sources are actually 4chan, and 4chan ended up trolling him to F with him. That's hilarious. Anyone who takes 4chan as a source seriously, really, someone needs to explain standards of evidence to them, and someone also needs to explain shit posting to them. Because if anyone ever reads, like, B, and they're like, this is actually super secret corporate information, all the way up to, like, you know, QAnon stuff, and they think it's real, no, you're wrong. Are there videos of anti-SJWs who are mad about the supposed race attribute changes in the upcoming D&D source book? Probably. I'm not sure, though.
There's nothing funny about the
Ooh, a spicy, fully clothed elf. This YouTube channel looks like that one Jesus site I linked you. It looks like a 90s wacky website with real evidence about weird stuff. Yeah. So let's see what else we got. Let me see what video would be interesting to watch. Star Wars leaks reveal exactly how the sequel trilogy will be erased. So this guy claims that he is the source inside Lucasfilm. He's never substantiated that claim. But of course, a lot of people who don't like the Star Wars sequels will click on his videos and give him money because, ooh, he's pandering to my anti-SJW tastes. And he's claiming in this video, I've watched this before, not on stream though, where he claims that Disney's going to erase the sequel films from canon, which is hilarious. If Disney didn't erase the prequel films, which are way worse than the sequel films, and I'm not here to debate, I don't care if you in the chat liked the prequels better than the sequels, you're wrong. It's subjective, they're movies. But like, if you think the prequel films are better than the sequels, I would bet $100,000 that those were the films that came out when you were a kid. Like, I straight up do not believe someone who was an adult when the prequels came out would look at the prequels and go, yeah, those are better than the sequels. Not true. Le Poupon with 45 bits, so I just gave my first... Oh, no, not gonna read that one. Cherry Tree Boy, yo Hannah, I was late because my headphones broke right as your stream started, but luckily my other headphones came just now, so how are you? I'm good, thanks. Anyway, the prequels are better because of the EU? Well, the EU's been erased now, so who cares? Say what you want about the prequels, but at least they're original. Okay, the shit I took earlier today was also original. I don't think anyone ever took the shit that I took. And, you know, I ate Long John Silver's yesterday, so it probably had a specific composition of, like, greasy hush puppies and chicken planks. That doesn't make it good because it's original. Original does not inherently mean good in and of itself. Anyway, here's this BS video on how the sequel trilogy will be erased. Why won't it play? Play.
Hail my friends, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed to this channel. People do get unsubscribed every day. And consider please joining my channel membership. You get exclusive videos, exclusive members only live streams, emojis, and more. Check it out, it's a lot of fun. Join the Doomcock Army. We need you, my friends. Thank you.
Who was the first YouTuber to start doing the, like, I do videos in a specific character with a mask thing? Like, Logic and Armored Skeptic have to be pretty early on, but someone has to predate that, right? Like, who started this shtick? Because every time I see it now, I roll my eyes. I'm not saying it's, like, not something you should do. If that's the persona you want to go with, that's fine. But it's such a specific thing, right? I wonder if Logic ever sees stuff like this and goes, oh god, this is embarrassing. Kitty Katniki says, how dare there be female protagonists in Star Wars? That's how some Star Wars fans think. Yeah. Anyone in chat, artists good with proportions, willing to check my drawing to see if any of my proportions are off? I guess someone in chat. If you are, check that out. Armored Skeptic was probably the first. Was Logic not prior to Armored Skeptic? And even then, you know, Armored Skeptic obviously started with just an animated, like, him. It wasn't really him in a costume until later. And even then, you know, that was only occasional. And now he doesn't do it at all. He's just, you know, Greg. So.
And enjoy this video. Greetings, my friends. Last week I broke news about the secret plan.
Broke news, and by broke news we mean
Nothing funny
he
about
made
the
it
tools of
up.
Capitalism.
Kitty Cat Niki, but Revenge of the Sith is so good. I mean, if you like it, more power to you. I really don't like it. A lot of people are like, oh, but Revenge of the Sith is good, and I'm like, okay, no, I don't think it is,
Nothing
but
funny
that's
about the
cool.
tools
I'm
of
glad you like it.
To save Star Wars. In that video I explained that
You
factions
can't take this seriously with this whole setup. Hey, this was his choice to present himself in this way, so that's on him.
within Lucasfilm were already moving to nullify the Disney sequel trilogy using a concept introduced into canon by Star Wars Rebels. In the Season 4, Episode 13 installment titled A World Between Worlds, the concept of the Veil of the Force was introduced, a mystical dimension of the Force that connects all time and space. Well, since I completed that video, I have received additional confirmation from 2 additional sources.
2 additional sources. Is one of the sources 4chan Overlord DVD? Because that's not a source.
Claiming that this is spot on, that indeed Lucasfilm realizes they have a massive problem on their hands, that the Star Wars franchise is
Let's see. How much money did the Star Wars sequels make? Doon, doon, doon. Those are the prequels. Got it stuck in my head now. So let's see, the highest grossing Star Wars of all time was The Force Awakens, followed by The Last Jedi, and then Rogue One, and Rise of Skywalker. So the top 4 grossing Star Wars movies of all time are all movies Disney has made. Do you see the problem with what you're saying? Oh boy. Now I'm not gonna disagree that Disney like mishandled some of the sequel stuff. I get it. The fact that they didn't have a plan as to where the movies were gonna go from the outset, and they had J.J. Abrams writing it with his dumb mystery box stuff, and then brought in Rian Johnson, and I like Last Jedi a lot. I wish he'd continued and done the 3rd movie. The Last Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It's certainly above all the prequels, and it's the best sequel movie. I'd probably even put it above Return of the Jedi, but, like, that's an opinion thing. But to say that, like, Disney's, like, considering it such a failure, they're gonna erase it from canon, that's ridiculous. Why would they do that? They're just gonna make more movies. They might take some changes or something. I'd like to think they'll go into trilogies moving forward with like a plan, and one writer or one group of writers will write all of them and have at least a general guideline as to where it's going. But to say that they're like, oh noes, we screwed up the Star Wars canon, as if CEOs give a shit about canon. It's just a bizarre claim.
Is all but dead, and despite Kathleen Kennedy's hatred of this idea, Lucasfilm is
Woman I don't like is literally like Space Hitler!
preparing to render the sequel trilogy null and void. The events of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker will be removed from canon.
This is such weird fanboy wank, like, fan fiction. This is not how anything works. The general public doesn't care about canon, much less know what it means. Disney's not going to put money and time into retconning a trilogy of films they spent millions of dollars making and made millions in profits on. It makes no sense. Furia Ferna with 10 bits. My biggest complaint is really just how it's not very cohesive. I figured the company that owned Marvel would have taken some notes from the MCU. That being said, the movies are an objective success, and the movies are here to stay. People need to get over it. Do I like Rogue One? I thought Rogue One was okay. I didn't like the characters very much, but I like the general premise. And I appreciate that they went through with what they did at the end and everyone died. And I know it's just fan material, but it's Star Wars sequels, so, like, what are you gonna do? I did like the Darth Vader thing at the end where he, like, kills a bunch of rebels. That was pretty cool.
That's right, capitalistic.
But yeah, I thought it was okay. Jazz Good Gnome, thank you for subscribing. Tier 1, appreciate it.
Isolated in their own alternate timeline and regarded as Elseworld-like installments under the label of Star Wars Legends. But after that video debuted, many fans were asking me exactly how do they propose to use the Veil of the Force to accomplish this. Well, my friends, my sources have beat the bushes, and I can now reveal more specific details about the alleged secret plan to save Star Wars.
What is this voice? Yeah, I don't know.
However, as is always the case, this information comes to me from sources inside Disney or Lucasfilm.
Sure they do.
And given that I cannot independently verify this information...
Well, if you know they're from inside Disney or Lucasfilm, wouldn't that be verification? It's almost like this is just someone who emailed you and said, by the way, I work at Disney. Totally. Trust me, bro. And you're like, okay, I better make a YouTube video about this.
I must ask you to regard it as unverified rumor and take it with a grain of salt. That said, please watch this video to the end as I have some proof from Rise of Skywalker to support what my sources are telling me, and you won't want to miss this. It is important to note that this is not a fait accompli, as Kathleen Kennedy hates this idea with a passion.
So totally, guys, when this doesn't happen, it's not because I lied to you and baited you into watching my crappy YouTube videos. It's because that evil Star Wars lady didn't let it happen.
And is reportedly doing everything she can to crush it.
Are we sure he isn't the troll? Honestly, if he is, what a great troll. What a good way to siphon money and views from weird chuds.
Which is quite understandable.
Who knows? Maybe this is me. Maybe I have the helmet sitting right over there, and this is really how I make most of my money, is by baiting chuds with awful fan fiction.
Well, given that, if this comes to pass,
that's what the voice change is for, obviously.
Everything that Kathleen Kennedy did with the sequel trilogy will be destroyed, tossed out, and declared obsolete. She is reportedly fighting against these bits of apostasy, but from what information I've been given, my feeling is these ideas will prevail in the end. A massive reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe.
Why would they do that? I'm guessing the next Star Wars movies, I don't even think, have they talked about what Star Wars movies they're doing next? I have no idea. First of all, they might start focusing more on the TV shows because The Mandalorian was a huge hit. I don't know if anyone here has seen The Mandalorian. I assume a lot of you have. It's quite good. It's a really good Star Wars show. Check it out. And I think also, like, the Clone Wars and Rebels have been relatively successful, so they'll probably still continue to work on stuff like that, although Clone Wars ended. They'll probably start another show to fill its place. So TV is a big place for Star Wars. I think they have had more success there than they have in the movies in the past however many years, at least in terms of critic and viewer response, if not profit-wise. But if they're doing more movies, they're probably going to either start doing some Old Republic stuff, which a lot of people are into, or they'll move even further into the future. Because the Skywalker stuff is played out. Let's be honest, I'm tired of it. Like, it was kind of nice to see Han Solo again. It was nice to see Luke. I even liked Luke's characterization in The Last Jedi, even though I'm in the minority there. But, like, it's over. I'm so sick of hearing about Darth Vader and the Skywalkers and Tatooine, yada, yada, yada. Let's move 1,000 years into the future and something else is happening. I don't even want it to be some other generic evil empire that's, like, reminiscent of fascists. We've done that. We've done that multiple times now. I'm done with it. Have some big, imposing threat. I think in the EU books there was something coming from outside of the galaxy that was going to threaten existence, and Sheev Palpatine was, like, working to prevent this. This is, like, non-canon anymore because it was part of the EU stuff. Bring something like that up. It's the future. Maybe you still have struggles between light side and dark, but there's some bigger threat coming from outside the galaxy, whether it be another species or some, like, existential threat, like it's some force. I don't mean the force, but I mean, like, a force that's going to destroy life in the galaxy. And maybe, like, dark side people and light side people need to team up to, like, fight whatever this thing is. I don't know. As long as it's not evil empire versus plucky rebels. It's been done to death.
And this, I am told, is how they plan to undo the Disney sequels. It will be explained that Emperor Palpatine had a room on the second Death Star called the Room of Mirrors. The mirror.
How about a Mandalorian-style Darth Raven series? I've heard the name Darth Raven, but I'm not familiar. I've never gotten into Star Wars, like, EU canon. I haven't read the books or the comics, really. The most I've done is the games, so I have no idea who that is, but I know a lot of people like him.
Were created by the Emperor prior to the Death Star through the dark
Producer Dane, thanks for following.
side using ancient Sith rituals. These mirrors, linked to the Veil of the Force, served many purposes. Using them, Palpatine could manipulate the Force in many ways to further his aims. For example, the use of the mirrors allowed Palpatine to cloud.
I never played KOTOR, so I've heard it's great, I know, but I've never played it. So if you're referencing Darth Raven from that, no idea.
The Jedi Council to conceal himself and his dark apprentices from the Jedi and from Force sensitives that followed their fall. Using the mirrors allowed Palpatine to access the awesome powers of the Veil of the Force. They were indispensable tools that allowed him to rise to the pinnacle of ultimate power. It is this conceit that explains how Palpatine survived Darth Vader throwing him down the shaft in the throne room.
He was a clone. They explained that. Disney said, like, after the fact, and this is due to, like, bad script writing in Rise of Skywalker, that they never explained this, but they say that the new Palpatine that we see in, like, Rise of Skywalker, that's a clone. That's why he's still alive. That's explained. So, this is debunked based on the fact that this is not true. We found out after this video, Disney was like, oh, he was a clone. That's the canon. I think it's mentioned in a book or something. Which, yeah, pretty friggin' stupid that they didn't put that in the movie, huh?
Of the Death Star. In desperation as he fell, Palpatine opened a portal to the Veil of the Force and entered it. This explains why Palpatine is in such a damaged state in The Rise of Skywalker, as
None of what he's saying is true. Disney's come out and said, like, yeah, no, he's a clone. He's a clone or something.
Transporting himself into the Veil without the aid of the mirrors drained him and damaged him severely. Now, fortunately for the erstwhile Emperor, Palpatine had another room of mirrors installed on Exegol. Palpatine was able to leave the Veil of the Force using the mirrors on Exegol to transport himself there, to begin scheming the rise of the new Empire and his return to glory, albeit in his grievously
Making Luke evil was trash? Luke wasn't evil. Luke was not evil. What are you talking about?
damaged state. Which begs the question,
Are you talking about, like, Last Jedi when he was gonna kill Kylo? Like, when he was gonna kill Kylo, it was because he was afraid he was gonna grow up to be like a new Darth Vader, and he wasn't wrong. So I get it. It was kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy because he, like... Oh, in Dark Empire? Yeah, I'm not familiar. Dude spanking dudes. This sounds like Homestuck levels of stupid. I'm not familiar with Homestuck either. Oh, an old EU canon. Gotcha. Sorry, I'm not familiar with EU stuff.
how will this backstory be used to erase the sequel trilogy and undo the nefarious schemes of Kathleen Kennedy?
The nefarious schemes of Kathleen Kennedy. Imagine trying to describe, like, someone who's a movie studio executive who's just trying to do their job and make movies, like, the best they can, and describing that as nefarious schemes. The level of delusion in these people, and again, I'm not even going to disagree that, like, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's doing that great a job at heading Star Wars, especially compared to, like, Kevin Feige over at Marvel. He's killing it. Kathleen Kennedy's kind of meandering, and it doesn't really seem like she has a grand vision for what's going on. I agree, but it's not nefarious schemes. She's just not very good at heading this series. Like, it's fine to be like, hey, I don't think she's doing a particularly good job. Maybe she should be replaced or put in, like, a different role where she could be more suited. That's fine. But to paint her as this evil woman who's, like, sitting in a room and like, yes, I will put women and people of color in Star Wars to ruin it for straight white men. That's insane. That is not how people think.
The solution is diabolically simple, my friends. Remember that the Veil of the Force is a mystical dimension wherein all times collide. So all someone has to do to erase all of this timeline and consign it to its own alternate timeline forever is to go into the Veil and wait for Palpatine to enter. Palpatine goes into the Veil and never gets back to Exegol. He is prevented from using the
Why does this guy remind me so much of a Bible Man villain? I'd watch that episode.
mirrors to return. He dies as he was intended to, and Bob's your uncle. All our problems are solved. That's right, my friends. The solution is essentially Disney hitting Harvey Cthulhu's button.
Why would the general public
There's nothing funny about the
care to watch these movies if in the very next movie you just erase the last 3 movies they paid to see? Why would they want to do that? Even comic books, which retcon all the time, tend to incorporate things. Like, when we see... Oh, how do I put it? Like, Marvel in the last 3 or 4 years, after Secret Wars, like, sort of condensed their Ultimate Universe and their regular Marvel Universe into one universe, right? But even so, they didn't necessarily erase everything that happened in those universes. A lot of the same stuff that has happened in those universes applies to the new universe. And the same thing happened with, like, DC's, I forgot, Crisis on Infinite Earths after that happened. It didn't necessarily erase the entirety of canon, it just condensed it and made it more streamlined, right? So a lot of the things that, like, happen in the DC universe may have happened in a slightly different way pre-Crisis, but they still happened. You're not gonna get away with being like, boy, you know the last movies that you spent the last decade, like, enjoying or at the very least going to see? Forget those. We effed up. Sorry. Redo. No one's gonna accept that.
And destroying the Kennedy-verse. Palpatine
This conspiracy theory is so convoluted and somehow more boring than the actual movie.
does not survive the Death Star after all. He is either prevented from opening the portal from inside the Veil, or he is prevented from returning to Exegol once he enters the Veil, helpless, drained, and dying, and voila! No Disney sequel trilogy, Han doesn't walk stupidly into a lightsaber, Leia does
He doesn't literally walk into a lightsaber. He's going to talk to his son. Like, there are a lot of things you can criticize about the sequel trilogy, but I don't think the way Han died is bad. I think that made sense. He's trying to reach out to his son, Ben, and Ben stabs him. Like, that's a dramatic moment. I thought that was fine. I think The Force Awakens on its own is an okay movie. I think it's entertaining. I think it's a good return to form for Star Wars. And yes, it copies the structure of A New Hope almost exactly, but I don't mind that. It's where they took it afterward that's questionable. I even like Last Jedi a lot. Like I said, it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. But, like, there's no thematic through line between that trilogy. That's the problem.
doesn't fly like
Fury of Ferna with 10 bits. I'm probably the biggest Star Wars fan here, and I'm so bored right now.
Mary Poppins through space. Luke has nothing to run away from.
I don't understand why people made fun of the Leia flying through space thing. She was using the Force to, like, attract herself back to the ship after she got blown out. Like, what's silly about that? That's very in line with Force powers.
And consumes no green milk.
And oh my god, the people triggered over Luke drinking the green milk. It's a comedy moment, fam. Like, who cares? I laughed. Like, what do you... I don't understand these people who expected, like, Luke to not... I don't know. I guess I don't understand what these people expected Luke to be doing after all this time, especially after in The Force Awakens, they established that he'd gone and he was being a hermit for, like, 20 years. Like, clearly something was wrong with him, and clearly he's, like, gonna go be on his own, and he's embittered about the Force and, like, the Jedi and everything. That's fine. That's a reasonable place for Luke to be. Like, I get it at the end of the Return of the Jedi. He's like, no, I won't turn to the dark side. I'm a Jedi like my father before me. And that's a great moment for him. But Luke was always one to kind of like, light side, dark side. He was always tempted, right? So I don't think it's unreasonable that in a moment he makes a mistake and thinks about killing Ben because he's about to become one of the biggest threats to the galaxy's peace, regrets it, and unfortunately creates the thing he was trying to stop. And then because of his failure and the death of his students, he goes and becomes reclusive and weird. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that arc. That makes total sense to me.
And I am...
Like, it seems to me that people who are mad about The Last Jedi, at least in some, not all, I understand. There are criticisms of The Last Jedi that are completely reasonable. But some people really didn't seem to like The Last Jedi because it didn't, like, put people that you liked as a kid up on this pedestal. It didn't show Luke Skywalker as this, like, godly, amazing, can do no wrong, almost mythical figure. He's just a guy. And that's fine, that's who he is. Luke is just a guy. He's a guy with great power. We even see that at the end where he creates, like, the illusion of himself to fight Kylo Ren. And that makes him disappear into the Force. Like, that's great. That's fine. Luke is a human being. He's not perfect. So yeah, he's there. He's drinking some green milk. It's funny. Because he drank blue milk. It's a reference to the old movie. Do you remember that? I don't get it. I don't get why these people are so mad about it.
Informed there will be no amazing Wonder Ray, as she was born after the Emperor's death.
I don't get the, like, guys, who cares? Who cares if she's real good at the Force? It's fine. I don't like the fact that she's the daughter of Palpatine. I think that's stupid. I think they should have stuck with the fact that her parents were no one. The idea that they retconned that after The Last Jedi and, like, actually, she's the Emperor's, like, granddaughter. That's stupid. I think that's incredibly
There's nothing
stupid.
funny about the two of them.
This last bit of
Oh, did I say daughter, granddaughter? Darklit1219, thank you for continuing your subscription. Woo!
about Rey is something that remains unclear to me, given that Palpatine is supposedly her grandfather, and so whoever gave birth
Jazzy Good Gnome, people love him so much but forget Luke is still an effing Skywalker. Like, do you know his dad? Yeah.
to Rey is presumably still out there after his death, but the source providing this information reportedly indicated that this is the plan, to retcon the sequel trilogy out of our misery and restore freedom to George Lucas's galaxy.
Having a female protagonist in a Star Wars trilogy is literally the same as a fascistic empire destroying democracy.
Now, is there any proof of any of this? The proof may well be hidden within the Rise of Skywalker itself, although I'm not convinced.
Yes, I'm sure they told J.J. Abrams, hey, J.J.,
There's nothing funny
I'm
about
Kathleen
the
Kennedy.
capitalism.
Come here for a second. And J.J. Abrams like, hey, what's going on, Kathleen? And she goes, we need you to put this scene in the movie because we're going to retcon all these movies out of existence. And J.J. pauses for a second and goes, what? And she goes, yeah, these suck. We're going to get rid of them. So put this in the movie. I'm sure that would go over well. Furia Fern with 10 bits. I think she should have been a virgin in the Force like Anakin. I just think she should have been a person. I like the idea that anyone from anywhere can be a Jedi, and a powerful one at that. It has nothing to do with bloodlines. I hate the idea of, like, bloodline Force stuff. It's, like, weirdly... How do I want to put this? It's, like, weirdly... biological essentialism. It's like eugenics almost.
Jar Jar Abrams understood the significance of this scene even as he filmed it. It is unclear if what I'm about to mention was planted in Rise of Skywalker in preparation of destroying the sequel trilogy, or if it is being retconned to facilitate rebooting the Star Wars universe. But regardless, I think this scene amply demonstrates
bits,
the
Darklit.
plausibility of this rumor. So in The Rise of Skywalker, when Rey goes into the ruins of the Death Star seeking the Sith holocron and, more importantly, some semblance of coherence in the plot, she discovers a secret room just off the throne room where Luke famously declared himself a Jedi like his father before him. Rey goes into the hidden room, and as you can see here, it is covered with broken mirrors. Shortly after Rey retrieves the Sith holocron, she catches a glimpse of movement in one of the intact mirrors. She turns and confronts an alternate version of herself, a dark Rey with a Swiss Army lightsaber. This evil twin actually emerges from the mirror and
Cotton Candy 903, did he just say Jar Jar Abrams, or am I deaf? Yeah, that's something they call J.J. Abrams.
engages Rey in battle.
Yeah, this is an allusion to the time that Luke was on Dagobah, and he fought a Vader, but when he cut Vader's head off, it turned out to be him. It's like referencing that and fighting a dark version of yourself. I thought that was pretty clear.
Well, my friends, this is your glimpse into the veil of the Force.
Or it's a reference to an earlier Star Wars movie and trailer bait, so you can see Evil Rey in the trailer. Probably a mix of the two.
Literally anything is possible here as branching alternate realities converge and diverge in that mystical dimension. What is glimpsed in those mirrors is an alternate version of Rey, and lurking within the veil are alternate versions of Palpatine, alternate versions of Luke, alternate versions of Han. Somewhere in that vast multiverse may even lie a version of the Disney sequels that didn't suck, that didn't outrage and alienate a huge section of the Star Wars fandom, but for
Outrage. Yes, do you remember the famous Star Wars sequel riots of 2017? Boy, what a nightmare that was.
now, the best we can hope for is using the veil of the Force to obliterate the Disney sequels, banishing them to their own little funhouse mirror in the vast Hall of Mirrors multiverse, to be forgotten as the substandard garbage they are. Many have said in response to my video that this is too little, too late. I certainly respect that.
What I don't get is, like, dude, even if they did this, those movies still exist. There would still be generations of children who grew up on those and they'll love them. Right? Like, what do these adult men do not get about this? What don't they understand? Like, Star Wars isn't made for you. Star Wars is a children's movie. It's a family movie. It's made for 12-year-olds, and you can enjoy it as an adult. I do, but at the end of the day, like, you're not the demographic they're making the movie for. They're making the movie for people so that on the way home from the movie theater, kids will kick the back of their parents' seat until they stop at the store and buy them a plastic lightsaber. Like, this is not made for your demographic. Dr. Gamble, those were dark times. Some say you can still hear the screams at night.
View. After all, we did miss out on the one chance we had to see Han, Luke, and Leia reunited on screen together.
Seeing bloody, decapitated arms on Mos Eisley floor make me think it was meant for a slightly more mature audience. Yeah, that was before George Lucas just figured out that he could make millions and millions of dollars on merchandise.
Nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Once he learned that Star Wars was big with kids, he immediately started making the movies for younger audiences. You can see this in Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks, right? He was making toys in that, and the prequel movies are full of that stuff. They're full of, like, things where you can tell Lucas is going, what could I make a toy out of? So you got Jar Jar Binks. You have C-3PO without the plating on in the first one, because how do I sell C-3PO toys to people? Everyone already has a C-3PO toy if they buy Star Wars toys. Oh, we'll have them without the armor. Well, we'll do pod racing, pod racers. We can sell little pod racers. We can, you know, stuff like that. Like, half of the stuff in the Star Wars movies past the first two involves, like, what can I make a toy out of? The Disney stuff follows that too, specifically because Disney is a huge conglomerate that wants to make money, and they bought the Disney Star Wars movies not for fun. They bought them to make money, so they're going to try and appeal to a younger audience who's going to buy merchandise. Now, you can say they did a bad job, and that's fine, I don't really care, but, like, that's the intent. They're made to sell tickets and merchandise. Those are the two things.
For one final adventure in that galaxy far, far away. Nothing can ever repair that. Nothing can ever make that right with fans who were cheated of this one chance to see the band put back together.
I've been cheated!
Capitalism.
I have been cheated of something that I am owed. I was owed a reunion between the people from the original Star Wars movie. Not really. Who cares? Like, those original movies are great, but do you really think old Han Solo, old Luke Skywalker, and old Leia together would have been good? I very much doubt it. Hello.
Oh, you have something in your hair.
Similarly, we can never unsee the hideous spectacle of Luke turning into a twisted monster as he attempts
We're watching bad Chud media take channels.
Oh, that's cool.
to murder his own nephew. Can never unsee Luke's
Yeah, that's completely in line with his character. I don't get people who didn't like Luke trying to murder Kylo. Like, yes, that sounds like Luke. Luke was always struggling with, like, light side, dark side, light side, dark side, light side, dark side. And in the end, he usually picks, like, I'm gonna do the right thing, and that's great. But that doesn't mean that struggle's not going to be a continual issue for him.
sucking on a space manatee. Never unsee Yoda destroying the Jedi Temple.
Who cares? That makes complete sense. Now, I don't like the characterization of Yoda in that movie, specifically because they almost write him like the scene from Empire Strikes Back, where he's pretending to be senile and silly with Luke, and it's like the person writing didn't realize that that's him putting on an act. But, like, other than that, just him destroying the Jedi Temple is fine. That's reasonable to me. Like, the Jedi effed up big time. The Jedi made terrible decision upon terrible decision that led to the destruction of the Republic. The entire idea of the Jedi, like, taking children and indoctrinating them into their religion and then forcing them to not have relationships with other people helped corrupt it from within. It destroyed Anakin Skywalker and led him to become Darth Vader. The Jedi were wrong and needed to be upended. And even when Yoda did destroy the temple, nonetheless, he did so knowing that Rey had taken the sacred texts anyway, so she could still learn from those while forging a new path for people. You know what I'm talking about? Jazzy Good Gnome. The entitled child energy of this guy is astronomical. Yeah.
Never unsee Rey being the bestest ever. We can never
Oh no! A protagonist of a Star Wars movie is good at the Force? We can't have that, because she doesn't have a penis. Everyone knows midichlorians come from the balls.
feel the pain of being insulted and labeled as ists and phobes by the very people we have supported for decades.
Okay, but that's because you're, like, specifically espousing racist and sexist opinions. I've heard so many, like, racist jokes about, what's his name? Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron? Is that him? Wait. No, wrong guy. The other guy. What's his name? Oh, God. Star Wars sequel characters. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-dum-ba-dum. Finn. FN1 whatever. I've heard so many racist remarks about him. It's absolutely bananas. And it's always from people like this. It's always from people like this. And the double standards between, like Luke's innate ability levels in the Force and Rey's. I get it. She's innately seems to be better at some things, and that's fine. That's sort of a power creep issue, right? Of course you have to have her do more impressive things, because it's a movie being made in, like, 2016 or whenever The Force Awakens came out. I don't know what year it came out. That's always going to be a thing. Power creep. I don't really care.
All these things
FN
are absolutely
2187,
true.
thank you.
And as a supervillain, I support your rage.
Xenon
I feel the
Eximer.
fury of these insults and injustices.
Hold on, I gotta replay that. Xenon Eximer, thank you for subscribing. 2-month streak.
Your rage are absolutely true. And as a supervillain, I support your rage. I feel the fury of these insults and injustices.
I support your rage over a movie made mostly for teenagers and children. Yes, these insults. We must rise up! They're Star Wars movies, dude. Go watch The Mandalorian and chill out.
Justices, myself, and
The Undercover Beast with 300 bits. Star Wars is made for merchandise. You're right, and that sums it up. I don't like Disney stuff. The Last Jedi made me sad, but hey, I love the parts of Star Wars I love, and let others love Star Wars they love. Heck, the expanded universe was just fan fiction, and that had permissions and budget. Some love parts of it and hate other parts. Can't please everyone, yeah. Star Wars is an absolutely ridiculously large conglomerate. It's not going away anytime soon. There's going to be some stuff that appeals to you and some stuff that doesn't. Like The Mandalorian, boom. It's going to appeal to people like this. And The Mandalorian's a really good show. But it seems like the kind of thing these people like. That's great. That's cool. The Clone Wars, I've heard that's awesome, but it might not appeal to these people. I have no idea. Some of the movies aren't going to appeal to certain people. Some of them are. It's a huge brand. They're trying to hit as many demographics as possible. Like, welcome to capitalism. Hope you enjoy your stay. Kitty Cat Nikki with a bit. The racism is so disgusting. Like, what do these guys do besides be in Star Wars movies? Cosmic Sean 92. I have the urge to give this dude a swirly.
keenly. But if there is to be any hope for Star Wars moving forward, if there is any future at all for this galaxy far, far away, the decanonization and demolition of the unbearably horrible sequel trilogy is a necessary.
Why? Why would it matter? Like, do you know, and this is the thing that I don't think these guys get, do you know the number of little girls I've seen that are, like, super into Rey, or, like, Rey for Halloween, or if you're, like, go to the Disney place, they're dressed up as Rey, and they go up to the person playing Rey in the Disney parks, and they're like, oh, and they're so, like, enchanted by it, because to them, these are the Star Wars movies that they've grown up with, and they love them because they're children, and children like silly little action movies and don't get hung up on canon like adults do. I'm not even gonna say most adults. Like, nerdy adults. Like, even I, who am a huge nerd, I think canon's interesting and it's fun to learn, but at the end of the day, I recognize canon is only as important as it can, how do I put this, serve the story you're telling. If you can use canon to help tell the story you want to tell in this universe, that's awesome. It's a tool. Use it. But if canon flies in the face of the story you want to tell, who cares? Retcon that shit. Get rid of it, or disregard the canon altogether. It just doesn't matter.
First step. There can be no peace so long as the sequel trilogy lives.
There can be no peace as long as these movies I don't like exist. Can you imagine going through life with so few problems that this is, like, #1 on your list? Disney made movies I don't like in a franchise I liked as a kid. Wow. I'm glad you've had a very, very easy life.
If this rumor is true, if
It's not.
they do find a way to declare the sequel trilogy null and void, then this is nothing less than a major concession to fans, an admission that Lucasfilm made a terrible mistake, and a stunning rebuke to Kathleen Kennedy, to her agenda and her betrayal of George Lucas.
Her agenda's to make movies that make money. Like, why do these people think that Kathleen Kennedy's like, I don't care how much money these movies make, I just want to put Laura Dern in purple hair to piss off white men. Like, dude, no one cares. They're just trying to make money. You don't have to like the movies. Even, like, I recognize the sequel trilogy has tons of problems, and they clearly didn't have a plan from the first movie, which they needed. But, like, getting this up in arms about movies you don't like is so bizarre. Like, let's look at something else. The Zack Snyder DC movies. The DCEU in general. I'm a pretty big fan of, like, Batman and Superman and stuff. I'm a bigger Marvel fan, but I do enjoy those characters, and I watched, like, the Batman the Animated Series growing up, and the Justice League and stuff, so I would like to see movies with these characters done justice. Pun. But the fact that most of the DCEU movies have been awful doesn't anger me. I'm just like, oh, I didn't really like those movies, and it's fun to talk about. I like talking about bad movies and, like, enjoying the discussion, but at the end of the day, I don't feel it's a personal slight against me as a human being that they made movies I don't like about characters that I do like. Like, it's just, sometimes you make bad movies. Sometimes the people in charge of companies don't understand the characters or the themes or what audiences want, whatever that might be. And it's fine. They're just bad movies. There's gonna be, before I die, I think I figured this out once, based on the rate at which Batman movies have come out so far within my lifetime. I think I figured it out once, that by the time I die, there'll be like 20 more Batman movies that have yet to be made. So, like, the fact that there's some bad ones doesn't bother me, because there are going to be a ton more, and even if there weren't and they never made another Batman movie again, there are already Batman movies I liked and I have enjoyed and I've enjoyed media of, and that's awesome. I'm happy just to have that. Same with Star Wars. You don't like these 3 Star Wars movies. That's fine. You don't have to. It's not a personal slight against you. There'll be like 50 more Star Wars movies made before you die. You'll probably like some of them, and even if you don't, go watch the ones you do like. No one owes you a Star Wars movie. It's just mind-boggling to me that these people think like this and are so entitled.
If they delete the sequel trilogy from canon, it is nothing less than an act of surrender by Lucasfilm and Disney. And if we want other corporations to follow suit, if we want to actually win this culture war, if we want to save pop culture, then we must find a way.
If we want to save pop culture, what does that mean? What does that even mean? Pop culture isn't prescribed. It describes things that are popular in the culture. Like, if the general public doesn't like something, it isn't pop culture, right? Like, you can dislike the Star Wars movies that have come out recently. That's fine. A lot of people thought they were all right, at the very least.
Capitalism.
Thank you to Cosmic Sean with 100 bits. Culture War. I just rolled my eyes so hard I think I strained them. Undercover Beast with 300 bits. The word conglomerate makes me unexpectedly uncomfortable. Anywho, it's interesting how Disney's Star Wars controversy exposed a lot of people, YouTubers with racist, sexist, problematic views, weirdly useful in recognizing the prerequisites to things like alt-right conservatism. I once appreciated the critiques of people like Mauler, but eventually started hearing dog whistles that drove me away, yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. Like, if you don't like the movies, that's fine. Before, like, I don't even know. When did The Force Awakens come out? Let me look. So The Force Awakens came out in 2015. Prior to the announcement of The Force Awakens, no one expected to get another Star Wars movie ever. George Lucas said he was done. He was never going to make another one and not allow anyone to do it, at least not until after he's dead. No one expected another Star Wars movie. So then Disney buys Star Wars for like $4 billion or however much. And then they're like, oh, you're getting new movies. And all of a sudden, people like this feel entitled to not only have new movies, but have them tailored specifically to them. Why? No one owes you a Star Wars movie. No one owes you any movie. If you get it and you like it, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. But they're just movies. They're products that you buy. And if you don't like it, then just stop buying them. It's fine. It's fine. If you don't want to buy the product, don't buy the product. But why spend your entire YouTube career making up lies on the internet about the movies you don't like? It's just so weird.
To accept their surrender. Without respect, we reject.
And yeah, Disney's made back the Star Wars money already? Probably. I don't know if they have released, like, numbers on that, but with, like, the theme park, the merchandise, which I imagine still sells relatively well, even if they're only selling mostly, like, classic OG Star Wars stuff and lightsabers, I'd imagine they're making pretty good money on that. The TV shows have done well. The Mandalorian sold a lot of Disney Plus subscriptions. The movies made money, all of them. Like, even if you don't like them, every single Star Wars movie that got released in the last 5 years made money. I don't know. It's just weird to me. These people are so weird to me.
That is our mantra. The real question
Look
here
at this ridiculous poster. Without respect, we reject. When will someone think of the straight white men?
That is our mantra. The real question here is, with respect, if we cannot forgive, can we at least accept? From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Let's see what his Patreon's at. It's gonna be depressing, I guarantee it. But we should look at his... Oh, he doesn't have a link to it. That's weird. On his channel, maybe he does. Oh god, how much does he make for bitching about Star Wars? 652 patrons? It doesn't say how much money. It's a lot of people. Jesus. Absolutely bonkers. So at minimum he's making 652 a month, probably. Although some are almost certainly paying the 3 or 6 for this stuff. Grifter's gonna grift. Anyway, that's enough Doomcock for this time. Well, I'm sure we'll look at him again on future installments of this show, but, you know. So, I don't know if you guys have seen the new Bill and Ted movie that came out yesterday. Midnight's Edge is another one of these channels that talks about, like, oh, get woke, go broke. And this video is about, did Bill and Ted go woke? A brief history of wokeness in film. So I'm curious what he's going to say about the new Bill and Ted movie, because the minute that, like, the movie ended, even before the movie ended, because I think the ending is relatively predictable, Baja Blast predicted it in, like, the first 10 minutes of the movie. By the way, the Bill and Ted movie, if you like the series, the third one's pretty good. I don't know if it's my favorite one in the series or anything, but it's a good movie, and it's a nice ending to the series. It's cool seeing them as Bill and Ted again. There's a lot of fun stuff. The robot's my favorite new character in the movie. He's very, very funny. Once you, like, see his personality come out later. And, Dennis, yes, his name is Dennis. Dennis the robot. I forget his middle and last name. But yeah, it's a fun little movie. This might include some spoilers if you care about spoilers in a Bill and Ted movie, but again, the spoiler is really, really obvious, and you're gonna figure it out in the first 10 minutes of the movie anyway. So just let you know, Dennis something McCoy, yeah. Thank you, iSlay, for following. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. So this video is about, did Bill and Ted go woke? A brief history of wokeness in film from Midnight's Edge. Let's see what he has to say.
How woke is Bill and Ted Face the Music? Ever since the first trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music, only one thing put a slight dent into the excitement fans felt over seeing Bill and Ted again. The nagging concern that Bill and Ted might have gone woke.
There are women in this film? Woke. We can't have vaginas in this movie film. Bill and Ted is all about penises.
We'll begin this video by first addressing why so many have started recoiling from any movie or TV series that even hints at being woke, what had fans worried about Bill and Ted Face the Music in particular, and finally reveal whether or not Bill and Ted have really gone woke.
It'll be cool and surprising if at the end he says it didn't, because it did a thing that I feel like people like this would get mad at.
Before we proceed, please be advised that there will be spoilers.
A brief history
It was in
of
2015 that we...
2015, when wokeness was invented. No movie involved progressive politics before they put a lady and a black guy in a Star Wars movie.
first got a glimpse of things to come.
Cosmic Sean 92 with 100 bits. Bill and Ted have been woke since the first movie. Their whole thing is be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes. I agree. It's so ridiculous. Like, have these people never seen a movie in their life that existed before The Force Awakens? There are tons of movies that advocate for, like, progressive concepts, for inclusiveness. Like, what do these people think? It makes sense if they're all, like, if they're all, like, 18, and the only movies they've ever really thought about are Star Wars movies, and they didn't notice any, like, subtext at any point in any other movie they've ever watched, and then they see a Star Wars movie and it's got a woman as the main character, and they're like, wait a minute, I can't relate to this character because they got titties! Very strange.
Lucasfilm, which had been bought by Disney, had made its first Star Wars movie with The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams. In the film, we are introduced to a young scavenger named Rey,
He's really gonna go here, isn't he? Okay.
who seems to wield extraordinary force abilities with absolutely no prior training.
Yeah, so did, like, Anakin Skywalker. He had, like, precognitive abilities that let him be a pod racer. He was the only human who could pod race. Do you not remember that?
It also reintroduces us to a more mature Han Solo, who has walked out on his wife, Leia, and their son to resume his life of smuggling.
Honestly, that made sense to me, too. I don't think Han Solo would be the type of person who would work with settling down with a family. You know what I mean? I get that, like, him and Leia wanted a relationship, but it just doesn't seem like it would have worked out to me. It makes sense that they would have split up at some point.
It was a year later that wokeness hit the mainstream with Paul
Why are there women in my Ghostbusters movie? Look, the problem with this movie was not that it was women. The problem with the Ghostbusters 2016 movie was that it was, like, too much improv. It was, like, all improv, and I don't think it was particularly funny improv. That was the problem with that movie, not that they were women.
Ghostbusters 2016, a movie that went out of its way to portray every single male character as evil, inept, or both.
I'm trying to think. It's been a long time since I've seen this. I only saw it, like, once when it came out. I know Kevin, who was the receptionist, was kind of an idiot, but that was, like, the joke. And the bad guy is, like, a weird incel type, but I don't remember any other characters in the movie.
And has only gotten worse since. In July of 2017, British actress Jodie Whittaker was announced to be taking over.
Has this guy seen a single episode of the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who? Because it hasn't really been, like, super woke or anything. The Doctor's just a woman. Like, they barely mention it ever. And when they do, it comes up as, like, a joke. It doesn't tie into the plot, like, at all.
The role of the Doctor in the long-running BBC series Doctor Who. The announcement also came on the heels of Broadchurch creator Chris Chibnall assuming the role of showrunner. What followed has been a steady ratings decline ever since.
Well, that's just because Chibnall's not a very good writer for Doctor Who. That's not Jodie's fault. That has nothing to do with wokeness. It has everything to do with Chris Chibnall being a bad Doctor Who showrunner. I think his episodes are quite bad. It's not about wokeness. And the retcons he did in, like, the season finale last year, whoo boy. That's a discussion for a completely different day. But at the end of the day, it's Doctor Who, it's fine. I think the next season might be their last season, which is reasonable. A lot of showrunners only stay for, like, 3 series over, like, it's been 4 years or so. Matt Smith stayed for 3 seasons. Capaldi stayed for 3 seasons. Tennant, I think, stayed for 3 seasons. And then some, like, specials. Like, that's not unreasonable. That sounds about right to me that they're gonna leave.
And the permanent alienation of some of its longtime fans.
The Doctor is a woman now! I'm alienated permanently! That's weird. I don't understand if what you liked about Doctor Who, if, like, understanding and accepting all sorts of different people isn't part of your ethos. What did you like about Doctor Who? Because that's a huge theme in the show, is, like, love and understanding for people who are different than you. That's, like, a key theme to the show.
In September of
The Timeless Child BS is what has alienated me. Yeah, I hope they retcon the Timeless Child stuff, but even if they don't, I can ignore it. I don't care.
that year, Star Trek Discovery debuted on the CBS television network, with the series then continuing on its primary home, CBS All Access. Star Trek Discovery was touted as the first time a woman of color would lead a major science fiction franchise.
The first season of Discovery wasn't that great, but I actually really liked Discovery Season 2, and I'm excited for Season 3. So...
However, the fans didn't exactly take to the series. Star Trek Discovery, or STD as it became known in certain fan circles,
ah-ha-ha-ha, so clever, STD, ah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Star Wars, or sorry, not Star Wars, Star Trek is doing really well right now. Not only is Star Trek Discovery getting its 3rd season soon, Star Trek Picard just came out. Yes, you can have opinions on that. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but that's out. They're having a new Strange New Worlds show, which is going to be the Pike Spock spinoff on the Enterprise prior to Kirk taking over. We have Lower Decks, which just came out. I think there's another, like, section whatever. I forget the name of the secret branch of the secret intelligence branch of Starfleet. They're getting a spinoff. Like, there's going to be, like, 5 Star Trek shows on the air at the same time. Star Trek is clearly doing well ratings-wise. Otherwise, why would they put so much money into it?
reviled for its major deviations from Trek lore.
Oh, no, not the lore. Who cares, man?
It was also lambasted by fans for portraying its main character, Michael Burnham, as a Mary Sue who could do no wrong.
What? Did you even watch the first season of the show? In the first episode, she commits mutiny. Her entire character arc in the first season is learning not to be like that and to learn to uphold, like, the ideals of Starfleet and not be such a jerk. Like, that's her arc!
In whom everyone would merely stand around and wait for her to solve whatever problem of the week that might endanger the ship.
Do I need to bring up Star Trek The Next Generation and how early on Wesley would sometimes fix problems? Or, like, Data would solve a problem? Like, Star Trek is always about some character figuring out the problem last minute with some technobabble and then saving the ship. That's how Star Trek works. You start with, like, a captain's log or something, or in the case of this show, like a first officer's log or whatever. You get the problem, you have some issues with the problem, you have some character interactions, the problem gets worse, someone does some technobabble, they solve the problem, end of episode, next week, rinse, repeat.
The series would also admittedly portray its main antagonists, the Klingons, as stand-ins for right-leaning conservatives.
I mean, a little. They're certainly, like, they're very make Kronos great again, if you know what I mean.
As a result, CBS All Access...
I don't get the criticism either. Hey, bud, if you're a right-winger who liked Star Trek, I have bad news for you, bud. Star Trek has never been for you. Ever. Like, did you miss the entirety of the point of all of Star Trek?
has yet to make a major penetration into the streaming market. A follow-up series, Star Trek Picard, which portrayed one of the most beloved characters in television history as a doddering fool, constantly apologizing for his privilege, while simultaneously showing...
Jazzy good gnome, how are these people watching the same thing I do and arrive at such stupid conclusions? I have no idea.
A woman of color as a homeless, drug-addicted deadbeat parent, only served to exacerbate fan discontent.
Jesus
However,
Christ.
the biggest offender of that year was Star Wars The Last Jedi.
I love Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Written and directed by Rian Johnson. The hero of the galaxy, Luke Skywalker, went from being a paragon of virtue.
He was not a paragon of virtue! Oh my god! Did you miss, like, the entirety of the beginning of Return of the Jedi when he's wearing all black and it's questionable whether or not he's gonna turn to the dark side? That's a part of his character. It's like these people think of Luke Skywalker not as he is in the movies, but like the Luke Skywalker they had in their head when they were playing with the action figures as a kid, and they're like, I'm Luke Skywalker! I'm a good guy! Yay! I'll defeat evil! Rah! And that's who they think Luke Skywalker is in their head because that's the character he was when they were playing with the toys. And they completely disregard what actually happened in the movies.
To a broken shell of a man who contemplated murdering his nephew and who sequestered himself on an island awaiting death.
Yes, he almost killed his nephew because he foresaw that he was going to become the next Darth Vader. After losing tons of people and realizing what destruction that would reap in the galaxy, he almost made a decision that would have been a dark side decision. At the last minute, he changed his mind, but it was too late. Kylo had seen what he was about to do, and in effect, he had a self-fulfilling prophecy that drove him further to the dark side. And in admittance of that mistake, he went and became a loner because he knew that he had made such a mistake that it almost destroyed, that it brought the galaxy to the brink yet again. That's perfectly in line with his character. Jesus. Well, they didn't portray Luke as a literal god up on a pedestal, so why is he drinking green milk? Huh? Luke Skywalker doesn't need to drink anything or poop or pee, because he's like Kim Jong-un. He's a god. He's just amazing.
While Rey is now all-powerful with no training and for no...
Did you miss in The Last Jedi when they do the training montage and he trains her? Did you miss the entirety of that whole chunk of the movie? Because that's part of the movie you're criticizing.
No reason. Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, the hero of the previous movie, was now relegated to being scolded by a condescending purple-hair...
Oh no! The boss is a woman, and she's telling a man what to do, we can't have that, because clearly the person in the room with the penis should always be in charge. This is my least favorite criticism of The Last Jedi. Like, he was being an idiot. Poe Dameron showed himself to be irresponsible multiple times in the movie, and he got demoted for doing so. He was not owed an explanation by Laura Dern's character. He had just been disciplined. My goodness, people.
Admiral Holdo, played by Laura Dern, who gets most of the fleet killed because she refused to share her plan with her senior officers. In 2009,
And yet she helped save the Resistance, and otherwise it would have been destroyed completely. The Undercover Beast, 300 bits, my last Star Wars thought. The entitled personal catering angle can maybe solved by video games. Give us more Star Wars games that let us choose our path, that put us in the part of the galaxy we want to be in. Maybe we'd be talking less about movies, good or bad, and more about our virtual adventures if we had a new expanded universe that took away from the movies themselves. No. These people will never be happy. They want literally every piece of media to be tailored specifically for them, and if it doesn't fit what they want exactly, then it is attack on them personally. They're delusional narcissists.
the Terminator franchise was rebooted yet again, with the film Terminator.
If bad Terminator sequels are woke fodder, then I hate to tell you this, but then the majority of the Terminator movies ever made are woke fodder.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
Every Terminator movie after T2 has been bad. This is not a surprise, and it's not due to wokeness or whatever. Hannah, you don't understand. A woman can't be helpful. They must be sexy and damsels. Be seen, not heard. Apparently.
Terminator Dark Fate. In the first act, John Connor, the savior of humanity in the war against Skynet, is gunned down by Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 at a beachside restaurant in front of his mother, Sarah.
Yes. And?
The movie introduces a new character, a cybernetically augmented soldier named Grace, sent back from the year 2042 to protect a young Mexican girl named Danny, played by Natalie Reyes, from a new Terminator, the Rev-9, played by Gabriel Luna. Later in the film, the T-800, having no purpose since he has fulfilled his mission, has pursued a life of domesticity, humiliated and emasculated under the name—
Emasculated? What? Doesn't he live in like a cabin in the woods or something? The fact that these people think any time, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't literally putting a gun in someone's face and pulling the trigger is apparently emasculating. Ridiculous.
Carl as an interior decorator. Director Tim Miller said of the new female protagonist, Grace, "If you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. If you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the fuck out of you."
I guess he was right, because here you are making a whole part-of-your video about it. Weird.
Because she's tough and strong, but very feminine. Needless to say, his comments didn't help, as Terminator Dark—
They called me out on the exact thing that I was thinking, so that made it worse. No, dude, you're just like exactly the stereotype that he's talking about.
Fate reportedly went on to lose an estimated $120 million.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Terminator sequels had that problem because they're all bad.
The year 2019 also saw the most woke of all films, Captain Marvel.
The most woke film in history. You know, a film that advertises the United States Air Force. Come on, little girls, we need more female drone pilots. Come on, sign up today so we can blow up some brown people. Oh, by woke you mean it starred a woman that you don't like? Oh, okay, just checking.
Carol Danvers had been a fan favorite in Marvel Comics throughout the 70s and up through the 80s.
She still is. She's very popular.
However, this version of the character was inspired by the Kelly Sue DeConnick retooling. The main plot point of the story is that throughout her life, Carol Danvers' biggest enemy wasn't the Skrulls or the Kree. It was men keeping her down.
Yeah, that's a theme that resonates with women. I know you're not a woman, so you wouldn't understand that. And I'm trans, so I didn't necessarily grow up, like, being treated as a woman, so I'm not even saying it's something that I understand completely. But at the end of the day, after talking with a lot of cis women about this, yeah, that's a problem that comes up a lot. Being told by dudes, like, you can't do this thing, you shouldn't do this thing, you should be this thing. That's why it made over $1 billion. It resonated with people.
And all she had to do was literally stand up. Though the film was a financial success, it was not helped by the negative publicity surrounding its star, Brie Larson.
It's the 23rd highest grossing movie of all time. It made over $1 billion. It's one of the most profitable Marvel movies, which is one of the most profitable series of all time. What a failure. Undercover Beast with 200 bits. At this point, can we charge this dude in the quartering with grand larceny? Go woke, earn $1 billion. True.
Her comments regarding the film A Wrinkle in Time became an internet meme.
Yeah, because weirdos like you completely misrepresented what she said. If you haven't seen Brie Larson's original comments, she basically says, hey, you know, Wrinkle in Time got a lot of bad reviews, but maybe if the review community wasn't made up of over 3/4 men, which it is if you look this up. I looked this up when I was talking about it to someone the other day. It's like 3/4 men and majority white dudes, straight white dudes. Like, maybe if we had some voices out there who were coming from, like, different perspectives, like more female reviewers, then these movies would get a better shot. And you don't even have to like A Wrinkle in Time to agree with this, but what she's saying holds true, that, like, hey, we have a lot of homogeneity in the opinions coming out of the review community in Hollywood. It would be great if we could get more diverse opinions and viewpoints out there. And then people on the internet, like The Quartering and this guy Midnight's Head, just went, what? You want different opinions? No! The objectively right opinion is the opinion of a straight white man! And they freaked out and acted like Brie Larson got up on stage and was, like, literally calling for people to castrate, like, straight white dudes. Absolutely ridiculous. These people are self-parodies.
And the backlash that ensued led to changes in the Rotten Tomatoes rating system in order to prevent what Rotten Tomatoes asserted was review bombing.
Because it was being review bombed by you guys. It literally was. Do you not remember that? It was hilarious. You guys were like, oh, Brie Larson said a thing I don't like. I'm gonna go give Captain Marvel 1 star. You people are children. The movie made over $1 billion.
While not fully quote-unquote woke, Avengers Endgame did give us a possible glimpse into the future of the MCU, where, for no apparent
Oh my god, there was a 10-second scene where all the female characters were on screen together and helping each other out.
reason and against all logic, every female character managed to converge at the same place at the same time on a battlefield that spanned miles.
Yeah? Are we seriously trying to bring, like, logic into your superhero movie now?
There's nothing funny
I don't know how to
about
tell you
tools of
this,
capitalism.
but, like, aliens also can't invade the Earth and be fought by, like, super beings. So if we're gonna talk about logic... Oh, also, there aren't, like, magical stones that if you put them on a magic glove can snap away half the population of the universe. Are we really gonna bring this into it? Because I can do this all day. Cosmic Sean 92 with 100 bits. Females!
Also in that year, Charlie's Angels was rebooted, this time directed by Elizabeth Banks, in which Sir Patrick Stewart is made to be the villain.
Okay, I didn't see Charlie's Angels. In fairness, no one did, so... I don't know why they even tried to make Charlie's Angels reboot. It's not about the fact that it's like a women, like, movie starring women or whatever. I just don't think anyone cares about Charlie's Angels. It was a weird choice.
On its opening weekend, the girl power heavy film made only $6 million in the US on a budget of $48 million. In 2020, the film Birds of Prey, perhaps one of the most grievous examples, was released. In the film,
Birds of Prey didn't make money. A, because the advertising was very confusing and the name of the movie is very stupid. It should have just been called, like, Harley Quinn or something. But secondly, people saw it and they're like, oh, is this related to that Suicide Squad movie? That sucks. It follows a trend. If you look at the DC... Hold on. If you look at the DCEU movies, they've continually made less and less money over time. Global box office revenue of DC Comics movies from 2004 to 2019. They've gone down and down and down and down and down. That's not a very helpful graph, considering it's not labeled. How about this one? Superman Returns. Nope, that's the wrong era. What about this one? That's still the Superman Returns one. Let me find a better graph. That only goes up to Justice League. Wonder Woman. I gotta find one with all of them, though. Come on. I know I've seen a graph before, but basically, if you look at the trend for the DCEU movies, they've continually made less and less money because people don't like the movies. It has the opposite effect of the Marvel movies, right? Because the movies just keep sucking, and if you keep making bad movies, people aren't going to see them. And I don't even think Birds of Prey is a bad movie. I think it's entertaining, but the fact that it's tied to this universe that almost no one likes, and I understand there are people who like Zack Snyder, but, like, even this isn't going to be good for them because it's not a Zack Snyder movie. It's quite the opposite. They're trying to do more like a Marvel thing here. So, I don't know. It's not because it's woke. It's because it's tied to a universe no one really cares for.
Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, spends most of her time trying to prove she doesn't need the Joker, while hiding behind her relationship.
Right. That's like a big thing with the Harley Quinn character. Have you seen the Harley Quinn animated show that's quite good too, or read the Harley Quinn comic? Harley Quinn deals with the fact that she's in this, like, awful, abusive, codependent relationship with the Joker, and when she leaves him, whether it be in the show or the movies or the comics, it's always a struggle for her to handle that, because it's like she's drawn to him. That's part of her character.
Ewan McGregor's Black Mask is portrayed as misogynistic and as homosexual. As
people said he was gay in the movie, and after I watched it, if they did that, it was, I don't know if I want to say subtle, because he had a bit of an affect, but, like, I don't think it was obvious, if that makes sense. And yeah, he's being a misogynist. That's fine for the antagonist of the movie.
It's confirmed by star Ewan McGregor. The film performed so poorly that it was retitled in its second week from Birds of Prey, The Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, to simply Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, they had huge advertising problems. The original title was a bad idea. They should have just called the movie Harley Quinn. You don't even need to put the Birds of Prey on it, because they only form at the very end of the movie. It's mostly about Harley Quinn. Just call it Harley Quinn, and then if you want, like, a subtitle, that's fine. They really dropped the ball on the advertising for this movie.
The name change didn't help. On an $84.5 million budget, Birds of Prey made $33 million domestically. Worldwide, it made only $81 million. Though these films may have been made at different times,
Dude, it's not about... But see, you see how this, like, doesn't apply equally? They say, like, see, get woke, go broke, but, like, okay, you mentioned Captain Marvel. It's one of the most profitable Marvel movies ever made. What do you mean, get woke, go broke? It really seems like the trend here is make a bad movie, go broke. Make a movie in a series no one likes, go broke. But, like, if you make a movie that's woke, and it's good, and it's part of a series people like, you make a bunch of money. So, what are you talking about? The Star Wars movies all made money. Captain Marvel made money. The ones that didn't were because they were already in a series that was downhill and no one wanted to see. No one wanted to see another Terminator film. No one wanted to see another DCEU film. At least not unless you're one of the people who wants the Snyder cut. And even then, you don't want a non-Snyder one. You don't like the fun, like, movies. You like the dour, overly serious Snyder stuff. So, what's the trend here? Good movies make money. Movies that are in series that no one cares for don't make money. It has nothing to do with this perceived wokeness.
They all seem to have a common thread, and that has raised the ire of audiences.
Oh good, we're on Bill and Ted finally.
In recent years, a word has taken hold of many in Hollywood. That term is deconstruction. More often than not, it is the trend that sees a franchise or
Deconstruction is not a new thing. Do you not understand that deconstruction is a very common tool? Like, even Batman v Superman draws a lot of its imagery from The Dark Knight Rises, which is a deconstruction of Batman and superheroes in general. This is not a new thing.
Or a popular character, where the main character has been quite literally destroyed for the sake of destroying him, or in order to make other characters look better by comparison. This is the veil under which quote-unquote wokeness is often disguised.
What? Why are you using this picture? This doesn't even take place in the same universe as the original Ghostbusters, so why are you using this in your discussion about deconstruction? 2016 Ghostbusters is not a deconstruction of the original Ghostbusters, it's just a Ghostbusters movie.
All of these films and properties take well-established and beloved characters, tear them down to the point where they are unrecognizable, and many go out of their way to portray the male characters as incompetent, inept, and foolish.
Bill Murray isn't playing the same character in Ghostbusters that he was in the original Ghostbusters. Do you even watch the movie? Or do you just look at screenshots and then make up in your head why you don't like it? I agree, I don't like Ghostbusters 2016. But this is not the Bill Murray character from the original Ghostbusters. What are you talking about?
Audiences, feeling betrayed by filmmakers and studios who believe that they know better, have been voting with their wallets. Many of these films have been financial failures.
And it had nothing to do with their wokeness. It had to do with, in this case, no one cares about Charlie's Angels.
Which has given rise to the mantra of, get woke, go broke.
Which is why Captain Marvel is the 23rd highest grossing movie of all time. Got it.
The sacrificing of male characters
and why The Last Jedi still made a ton of money. And even though Rise of Skywalker made less money, it still made all the money. Let's see. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that.
In order to build up female characters was a concern for many fans of the Bill and Ted movies. Especially when they heard that rather than Bill and Ted having sons, they have daughters. And that the daughters are actually the ones who gave Bill and Ted the song that united all of reality.
Rise of Skywalker made over $1 billion. Last Jedi made $1.3 billion. The Force Awakens made $2 billion because it was the first Star Wars movie in over a decade. These movies all made money. What are you people talking about? The delusion. This is staggering.
Those concerns, given recent history, may be valid. However, as Rufus said, sometimes things don't make sense until the end of the story. Bill and Ted Face the Music could have easily gone awry, though many have concerns.
So he does like Bill and Ted Face the Music, even though you could argue it goes as woke as the other ones. Bill and Ted has always been inclusive. And spoilers for the new Bill and Ted movie. If you don't want spoilers for Bill and Ted, mute this now. This is where the spoilers start. I know it just came out yesterday. Let me tell you though, it doesn't, it's not going to ruin your movie experience. Bill and Ted isn't about like, ooh, the twist. You're going to guess the twist in the first 10 minutes anyway. So I'm giving you a second to mute this. Alright, so, in Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is quite funny, I suggest you rent it or buy it or whatever. It's on streaming services now. And frankly, I'd recommend you rent it and not pirate it specifically because I want it to make money on streaming because I'd like more movies to go straight to streaming. I'm sick of going to the movie theater. They're two old men now, that's the twist. Okay, so, the twist is, if you haven't seen the trailers for the movie, basically it's been, however many years since the last Bill and Ted movie. They are no longer famous. They didn't unite the world like they were supposed to. And they're spending all their time trying to write the song that's supposed to, like, unite the world like that Rufus said they would in the first movie. As it turns out, they get more specific about the prophecy in this one, and it's that Preston and Logan will write the song to unite the world and save the universe, because as it turns out, San Dimas, California, where they live, in 2020, is like it's like the focal point of all time and space, which is funny. That's a very Bill and Ted thing. San Dimas, California is the middle point in time and space. So stuff starts happening where, like, characters or people from different time periods start jumping from place to place, like George Washington shows up in present day, stuff like that. And playing this song in San Dimas at a specific place at a specific time will fix this. And not only fix this, but bring the universe together, as Rufus talked about in the earlier movies. So the whole movie, they're trying to figure out how to get this song. They go to the future to try and steal the song from themselves. They have these daughters who were the same people who were at the end of the Bill and Ted movie. They called them Little Bill and Little Ted in Bill and Ted 2, but in this movie they explain, like, yeah, they called them that, but really it's like Billy and I forget what the Little Ted's name was. But they're their daughters, and the daughters then go on their own separate time travel adventure where they try and make a band out of some of the best musicians in history. You have, like, Jimi Hendrix. You have, it wasn't Beethoven, was it Mozart? I don't know, some famous pianist, and a bunch of other musicians, and they get together. And then at the end, they realize, oh, the song that's supposed to unite the world is supposed to be written by Preston and Logan, which are Bill and Ted's last name. But it's not supposed to be us, it's our daughters. So then the daughters basically create the song that's supposed to unite the world. That's the end of the movie. And Bill and Ted and Death and the rest of the band all play the song, and it saves the universe. And it's fun. It's a fun movie. I'm surprised that the people who are like all this, like, get woke, go broke, aren't mad that Bill and Ted turn out the prophecy isn't really about them. It's shocking to me. Louis Armstrong, yeah. Oh, her name's Thea. Yep, thank you. Oh, and Dennis dances, yes. The robot's the funniest part of the movie.
Characters of Bill and Ted would be changed to fit a woke agenda. They have not.
Bill and Ted have always been incredibly inclusive and understanding. They're not the smartest people, but they're positive, upbeat, caring individuals, right? They're already woke.
They are the same lovable, innocent guys that we last saw in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Their music career may have stalled, however, they still have the same optimistic outlook on life, and never once have strayed from their path. When doubt does creep in, a friendly reminder of their importance arrives in the character of Kelly, played by Kristen Shaw, the daughter
They did say the F word in the original. They were also high schoolers in the 80s, which was a common thing. I'm not excusing that behavior because it was never okay, but, like, contextually, I understand why they would say that, even if they were pretty understanding individuals.
of Rufus, played by George Carlin. Rufus still remains the guiding hand to Bill and Ted, and when his wife conspires to subvert history by pursuing her own agenda, Rufus is ultimately proven right, and Kelly's unshakable faith in her father was ultimately vindicated. It was never about the song. It was about Bill and Ted, who figured out it was they who were the ones that made everyone play the song across time and space to save reality.
It was kind of about all of them working
What
together,
fans
but
ultimately want
okay.
in a sequel film is a passing of the torch story, where the original characters are respected, and new characters are introduced who are in supporting roles. When plans for Ghostbusters
Honestly, if they did like a Billy and Thea movie where it's the daughters, I'd watch that. They were pretty fun. They did a good Bill and Ted impersonation.
3 stalled, it was the hope of fans that eventually a new film would see the characters take up the mantle passed down by the originals. What we got instead was Paul Feig trampling upon the legacy of the core group. When Ghostbusters 2016
It didn't even take place in the same universe. Who cares?
got wrong, Cobra Kai got right.
Cobra Kai is a good show. Check out Cobra Kai if you like the Karate Kid movies. It's on Netflix now. Netflix picked it up because YouTube is canceling all the, YouTube Prime original series. So go check out Cobra Kai. It's on Netflix.
The story continued while never losing sight of who the main characters were, bringing in new characters, fleshing them out, and giving you a reason to like them. Bill and Ted Face the Music follows much of the same tract. Though many assume that Little Bill and Little Ted were boys, they were never established as boys in Bogus Journey.
I am so shocked he's okay with this. I feel like the Quartering's gonna make a video and be mad about it.
Where they were actually played by girls. In the Midnight's Edge interview with Ed Solomon, he pointed out that making them boys would have seemed redundant. He also noted that making them super smart or cooler than their dads wouldn't work either, and one of the main concerns wasn't making them girls. Billy, played by Bridget Lundy Payne, and Thea, played by Samara Weaving, are an integral part of the story, but they are there mainly to provide support for the two male leads, who are front and center and proactively save the day. Just as in
They all do. They all save the day. Why is it that this guy's, like, bar for female characters that are okay is they're okay as long as they're providing support to the male characters? Weird bar.
Cobra Kai, where Johnny and Daniel are front and center, with their children being in integral supporting roles. Each complements the other, and Bill and Ted are never made to look foolish for their daughters to look better in the eyes of the audience. However, the most reaffirming moment comes when Death, played by William Sadler, is convinced by Billy and Thea to rejoin the band.
That was a cute scene. That was nice. I like that they got Death back in this one.
Death tells Bill and Ted that they had raised two good girls. And in one solitary act, the trope of the Hollywood bad dad was broken.
What? There are tons of movies that feature positive, like, father figures. What are you talking about?
Hollywood and the movie industry are prone to, if anything else, whatever the latest trend is. One week, it might be vampires. Another, it might be zombies, action movies, romantic comedies, adventure stories, science fiction, horror, giant robots, monsters of the week, film noir, westerns, superheroes, war movies. And yes, even wokeness. Nothing is immune from the grasp of its tentacles.
Like, having women in movies is not a trend. It's just like a thing that happens now. Are these people still going to be reading about this when 30 years, when there's still women in leading roles? Like, do they not understand that this is the norm now? The past, where there was just homogeneity in leads, where it was all, like, white dudes? That's weird. It's weird to have 99% of your movies star just white dudes. That's not how the population is. It doesn't make sense. Of course you're gonna have some movies that star women, and some that star men, and many that have a cast of a whole bunch of different kinds of people, both in terms of gender and race and identity and all sorts of stuff. That's the norm now. It's not a trend.
All trends, thankfully, have a finite shelf life. Here today, and when they stop making one more dollar than they cost to produce, gone tomorrow. We can only guess what the next trend might be. For now, tell us what you think about Bill and Ted Face the Music. And if you haven't seen it, are you excited to in the comments? And check back with us for our upcoming video about the possible woke purge at Disney, where we will go through what...
Another one of these channels. This is what these channels do, by the way. It's a scam. They'll, like, crib from each other. Again, that, like, guy we watched earlier who wore the robot helmet and he pretends to be a supervillain, he's the source for the claim that, like, Disney's gonna get rid of all the SJWs, and then he covers it, the Corden covered it, this guy's gonna cover it, with no evidence that it's true. Just because one of the other guys in this, like, subgenre of YouTube said it. All of them, like, make a video about it. It's such a scam.
We've learned and what it all means. And be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon.
Let's see what the comments have to say. Fans, why are pushing identity politics at the expense of the characters in the story? That's not something that happens most of the time. SJWs that don't care about the franchise and don't spend money on it but want to virtue signal, unleash the buzzwords. Give me, like, 3 examples of this out of the movies that were named. I'd love to see. Don't forget, one of the biggest ways they pumped up a white Captain Marvel was to make a strong black Nick Fury into a weak fool? What? Nick Fury was still, like, a badass in that movie. Are you talking about the joke where the Flurkin took his eye? That's just a gag. Who cares? My God. Anyway, it's enough from him. Probably do, like, one more thing, and then I might call it a night. I gotta go talk to someone I'm doing a debate with tomorrow. Or someone who's on my side for a debate we're doing with against other people tomorrow. So, what movie did they watch? I don't know. We got this Yellow Flash guy. This guy, Mike Zero. Daisy Ridley is furious with Kathleen Kennedy. Uh-huh. Sure. Sure. The Rise of Skywalker canceled at Marvel? Oh, like a comic book series. I was very confused for a second what that meant. Let's watch this. This guy, Nerdrotic, has a video that says, Doctor Who's Jodie Whittaker and Chibnall out after Series 13. That doesn't really shock me. If that is the case, they've been on after the next series. They'll have been on for 3 series. That's pretty standard for Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat is the exception, but, like, Russell T. Davies, I think, did, like, 3-4 series, and then he was out. And the 4th series was, like, specials. So, like, 3 series, that's not unreasonable. Matt Smith did 3 series, Capaldi did 3 series, Tennant did 3 series, and then specials. Eccleston only did 1 series. So, like, 3 is about the average for a Doctor. It's not that crazy. But again, I don't know if this is sourced by anything or if he's just making it up because he doesn't like Whittaker.
BBC got me. They copyright claimed an entire video, which is...
Yeah, welcome to the awfulness that is YouTube's DMCA system. I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that one. Now, actually, this is cool. YouTube finally has a thing where, like, if I upload a video on YouTube and I have, like, a clip where there's a little bit of music or something and it would normally block the video or keep me from monetizing it, I can actually now mute that part of the video. They even have a thing that's in beta where it'll remove the music, but it'll keep, like, everything else. Like, if I'm talking and there's music going, but the music is copyrighted, it'll take the music out, but my voice will remain. It's very cool. So if you ever watch one of my, like, archived streams on YouTube and there's a part where there's just, like, no audio for a little bit, it's probably because there's copyrighted something. But yeah, if you play clips from, like, a TV show or something, especially with no commentary over it, you're very likely gonna get, like, copyrighted by the company. That's not right. I don't think that's cool, no matter who you are. I think fair use is a thing, and people are allowed to use clips from your thing, especially if they're commentating on it or reviewing it, and I think it's messed up for BBC to try and, like, take down people's videos for using brief clips. I just want to point that out.
Is very unusual. Usually, they provide a timestamp for the infringing clip, and yes, I did use clips. The same clips I have used in all of my Doctor Who videos with no problem. YouTube recommends that you upload the video a few hours in advance and unlist it. I did that. Everything was fine until I made the video public. This leads me to believe that the BBC didn't like what I had to say, and that's fine. They can...
maybe, not necessarily, though. A lot of times, like, there's automatic removals, but then there's also ones that are done, like, by people. Like, the BBC will, like, literally hire people to sit on a computer and kind of go on YouTube all day and Twitter and all sorts of, or Twitch and all sorts of places and try and find, like, videos that might be infringing on their copyright, even though, of course, a lot of the things that they tag don't. It might just use a clip or something, and they really should take fair use into account. Nonetheless, sometimes a person will find the video and flag it. They may have missed your earlier videos, but that doesn't mean that they're only doing the one they don't like. It could be, but I just want to point out that, like, human beings are fallible, and if they're looking for just any clip usage and they're going to flag it, they might have just missed the ones that you did earlier.
Not like it all day long, but I have a right to say it. So I'm going to re-upload the video, and that is usually hell on the algorithm. So if you could please like and share the videos as much as possible, and if you haven't, please
I don't think I will.
Consider subscribing to the channel. Now, on to the Doctor Who rumors.
I think it's because
the Doctor Whomers.
I've never, like, I haven't handed on, so I'm still in that strange kind of flirting space where I own it. And, like, I mean, I'm not kicked out of the club yet.
Nerdrotic.com.
We live in strange times where corporations will continue producing television shows or films that are clearly a massive failure with their audiences.
I don't know about that. Again, I think the first series of Chibnall's pretty bad, but the second series had some pretty good episodes in it. It's just like the finale that does the canon stuff, the like Timeless Child stuff that I don't like very much. But other than that, the last series of Chibnall stuff had some good episodes in it, and Doctor Who is always very hit or miss. Not to mention, if we're talking about ratings on, like, live TV for the BBC, a lot of people use iPlayer now to watch stuff. I don't know if that gets tied into the ratings for the shows and stuff, but usually when you're looking at ratings for TV shows, they're talking about the first broadcast, and that's always going to be down over time, considering so many people watch things online now.
Obviously, the viewers, fans, or paying customers, whatever you want to call them, do not factor into the decision-making over at the BBC, considering the cratering ratings for Doctor Who.
I've had an upgrade.
Recently, the entertainment industry on both sides of the pond have decided to rebrand into the influence industry, and unfortunately for them and fortunately for us, they suck at it, but it has infected some of our favorite franchises, and it's obviously no different with Doctor Who.
Forgotten Writer, thanks for following. Welcome to the stream.
Worst example. Well, I've got some of those rumors to talk about.
There's a rumor, by the way, and this is just a rumor, so don't, like, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but it seems like it's possible that the BBC might be teaming up with HBO and making Doctor Who an HBO Max exclusive, and they'll also air it on BBC. Kind of similar how HBO has a deal with PBS with Sesame Street, where PBS still owns Sesame Street, but it gets aired on HBO first. There's a rumor that they're going to be working with HBO and turning Doctor Who into a co-production between HBO and the BBC. I'm very concerned about that because I think I like the show better as a British-only production, but working with HBO would make the budget for the show probably a lot higher, and it might also improve the writing if we're moving beyond, like, Chibnall and the entire idea of, like, an individual showrunner, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Looks like Chris Chibnall and the first female Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, might...
Oh, that's really stupid. Dude, look, there are a lot of problems with Chibnall Doctor Who. I don't think Jodie Whittaker's one of them. The writing isn't always up to par, but I think she's a fine doctor.
Be on their way out. And it looks like Doctor Who Season 13 might be delayed. Let's start with that. Doctor Who
A lot of shows are delayed because of COVID.
Be made to the current standard under social distancing, says BBC Wales boss, considering what may be behind one of the rumors I'm about to...
How is the 13th Doctor in any way like a Karen? Here's the problem, I think, with these people. The Doctor is always authoritative. The Doctor will... Like, the entire premise of the show is the Doctor will drop into a situation with the TARDIS and will find a problem, and often the end of the show involves a lot of moralizing. The Doctor speaking to someone and saying, like, you shouldn't be doing this, here's the right thing to do, I'm gonna fix this problem. Now, they don't mind this when it's like Matt Smith or David Tennant or Peter Capaldi doing this as the Doctor, because they're men, and in their heads, men should be authoritative. An authoritative man is confident, but they see Jodie Whittaker doing the exact same thing, and she's a woman, and they see a woman being confident and authoritative, and they don't think, oh, that's someone with confidence in their opinion. They go, oh, what a bitch. Like, that's how they think. It's like they don't understand that their way that they're viewing this is entirely colored by their weird misconceptions about gender and the stereotypes that they put on people because of it. It's really, really weird.
Report, I can rework this headline too. Doctor Who can't be made to the current social justice warrior standards, says BBC
Is that supposed to be clever?
Wales boss. Or Doctor...
There's nothing... And again, I don't understand these people who claim to like things like Doctor Who and Star Trek, and they're like, this show is SJW now. Have you watched literally any of it? Doctor Who has always been very inclusive and very understanding, and the themes are always about, like, you need to understand people who are different than you and love them for their differences and not be afraid of them because of it. That's a consistent theme in Doctor Who. And not only that, but if we're going to talk about, like, oh, the woke agenda, Doctor Who has had, like, openly gay and bisexual characters since, like, Captain Jack Harkness, which is, like, the first series of New Who from 2005. This is not new. Doctor Who has always been a very progressive show. The Doctor is a moral character that cares about people and understands about them. Acting like it's new to Doctor Who that the Doctor cares about, like, justice completely misses the point of the entire show.
Who can't be made to the current standard due to viewer distancing, says BBC Wales boss.
Weren't there lesbian dragon ladies? Are you talking about Vostra? Madame Vostra and Jenny, her wife? Yes.
BBC Wales director Rodri Talfin-Davies has cast doubt on whether the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, will be back filming new episodes anytime soon. Oh, threaten me with a good time. Will Doctor Who Series 13...
Man with toys all over his wall doesn't like women. More news at 11.
Be delayed by the lockdown? The answer is absolutely yes, and that is before I get to the rumors. It's been the question on many a Whovian's lips. That's not entirely untrue, but the vast majority is just hoping it stays delayed indefinitely. Ever since the beer bug pandemic.
Can you imagine? I don't get this idea. Even if you don't like Jodie Whittaker's era of Doctor Who, probably because of Chibnall's writing. Again, I think she does fine in the performance area. I think it's mostly the writing. Like season 1 of Whittaker, I didn't like very much. In fairness, I didn't like the first season of Capaldi very much either, and now he's like one of my favorite Doctors. But like when I didn't like the first season of Jodie in the show, I didn't think, man, I hope this show gets canceled. I thought, okay, I didn't like that very much, but I really hope by the next season they can come back and work out the kinks. Like, if you like a show, why do you think, like, oh, I hope it gets canceled? Like, what? Do you even like the show, then? Why don't you want it to just get fixed and get better? Very strange. It's almost like he wants to punish the people behind it. Like, they don't care about the show. They care about being able to say, see, Doctor Who lasted like 20 years, the new Who, and then Jodie Whittaker got into it and it got canceled. See? Get woke, go broke, bro. It's like they care more about that than the actual show. It's very strange.
Forced various TV productions to shut down, and while socially distanced TV is now beginning to film again, and in Doctor Who's case, fewer distancing TV, a BBC executive has cast doubt on whether Doctor Who could return under those circumstances. And I love to read between the lines, and maybe this is just talking about the beer bug, but this is starting to sound like an excuse to me. It'll be down to...
Dude, no. Doctor Who's a really expensive show for the BBC to make. It's probably their most expensive show. And it's really complicated to film. So they're saying that we can't do it safely during COVID. A lot of things have ceased filming during COVID. A lot of the Marvel shows for Disney Plus, for instance, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, a lot of those had to stop filming because of what's going on with the, you know, pandemic that's happening.
Viewer distancing. Social distancing. Rodri Talfin-Davies, director of the BBC Wales, said during an online Q&A when asked about the future of Doctor Who. The future of Doctor Who. That's why you clicked on this video, and that's what we're going to discuss right now. But for the internet police out there and the content cops, well, now that I think about it, defund the internet police. As with all rumors, please take this with a grain of salt. But sometimes rumors can become stories. But I can't verify any of this. I don't work at the BBC, but this does come from the same source who told me that they would be swapping the Doctor's original gender, that the Doctor would originally be a female, that they would be retconning the Doctor's past, and that's what we saw play out.
A lot of people knew about that, though. This comes down to these people will be like, but this is the person that told me this thing, and it turns out that thing was something that had leaked to the internet as a whole. the idea that, spoilers for Doctor Who, Series 12 or whatever, the most recent series, I'll give you guys a second. This is going to be Doctor Who spoilers. He kind of already spoiled it, but if I'm going to get more specific. So I'll give you a second to mute this or whatever. Doon, 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 doon. Doon, 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 doon. Doon, no, 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 no. Doon, 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 boom, boom. Okay. I'm gonna do the spoilers now. So in Doctor Who Series 12, oh god. It was retconned. Oh god. I really don't like the Timeless Child stuff. It was retconned that William Hartnell's first Doctor was not, in fact, the first Doctor. Not even the second or third Doctor. There had been, like, infinite Doctors prior. The Doctor is not, like, just some Time Lord. The Doctor is the Timeless Child, as they call it. It was a child who fell through a portal from somewhere that they don't know, landed on Gallifrey, and whenever the Doctor died, they would regenerate. This is before the Time Lords have regeneration. It turns out the Doctor is the source of why Time Lords can regenerate. Right? So, the Doctor, every few regenerations or whatever, would have their mind wiped, which is why the first Doctor thought they were the first Doctor. So we see earlier versions of the Doctor, including what some people have taken to call the Ruthless Doctor, because her name was Ruth when she chameleon arced herself. And I liked her, actually. I thought she was really good. But, like, this idea of, like, there's infinite Doctors back in time, I think is stupid. I don't like that. But, like, I completely forgot why I even got on this tangent. Let me see. Oh, so basically, yes, they did say the first Doctor was a little girl. I don't think that matters that much if you're just saying, like, I think the bigger issue is just that there are Doctors prior to Hartnell, right? I think that's a stupid retcon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't really care. It doesn't affect the day-to-day of the show. It doesn't affect, you know, that much. I just think it's a really weird, unnecessary retcon.
Out in The Timeless Children with a lazy voiceover montage where the actors who are destroying 50 plus years of canon didn't speak a line of dialogue. And my source revealed that information to me months before the events of The Timeless Children.
Oh, I was also going to say, yes, that source probably revealed that to you, but I also knew that months before that. On the Doctor Who subreddit, R. Gallifrey, that had leaked months before The Timeless Child happened. So these people will be like, my source told me this spoiler, and it's like, well, yeah, everyone knew that spoiler. You didn't need to be a BBC insider because that had already leaked to the internet by that time. So you can't use that as like a, my source is right because they knew this thing. Yeah, so did I. That doesn't mean I'm a BBC insider. It just means that I'm able to read internet forums.
And it didn't soften the blow. The Doctor is no longer Gallifreyan. William Hartnell is no longer the first Doctor. God, it killed me to say that. And that's why, while this is good news, it comes way too late. The damage has already been done.
I know something you don't know.
According to my source, this will indeed be Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker's final season on Doctor Who. Yes, we have heard this before. Starburst magazine reported back in 2018 that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall might be leaving after season 12. That obviously didn't happen, although we haven't seen Series 13 yet. Now, we saw some evidence earlier in the year that they were thinking about splitting the season, and it looks like, according to my source, due to the impending delay, that might happen.
God, I hate the split seasons of Doctor Who.
It might be split into 2 separate seasons while filming it all at once. We will see when and if that actually happens. And as far as the next Doctor is concerned, according to my source, it is still up in the air whether it's going to be a male or a female. Obviously,
I just cast whoever's the best for the role. Who cares about the gender? Bishop Paul IV, thank you for the 100 bits.
No decision has been made, and one might not be made for years.
At Colston with 5 bits, not defending it. Maybe they made the Doctor the Timeless Child because Time Lords could only regenerate 12 times and Jodie would have been the last Doctor. No, they already dealt with that during... At the end of Matt Smith was the last Doctor in that line of regenerations, and then the Time Lords granted the Doctor a whole new set of regenerations. That happened already. They already dealt with that issue.
And I doubt the show,
although that's retconned even now too with the Timeless Child stuff.
Could even survive that. Are the events of the Timeless Children going to remain canon, or are they going to retcon it? Well, they'll add on to it, but they're not going to retcon it. Not anytime soon. So don't get your hopes up. Maybe if another...
In fairness, the Timeless Child information came from the Master, so it's entirely possible that they'll retcon it. It'll be cheap, but whatever. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't really care, but it was kind of a strange decision, and I don't know why the BBC signed off on it.
Regime comes in at the BBC, and maybe if there's a new showrunner, but not in the near future.
I know, and I understand that the Brain of Morbius has a scene where, like, they're going back and it shows doctors prior to Hartnell. I get that. But, like, everyone already decided to ignore that. No one considered that to be a canon thing that mattered until the Timeless Children brought it back up again. No one cared. No one needed an explanation for that.
Listen, it doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. All you have to do is look at life through the very narrow lens of identity politics, and you too could be a decision maker at the BBC. For example, doesn't the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen...
Why do you think she's a Karen? Again, the only reason I can think of that you think she's a Karen is because she does the exact same thing the Doctor always does, which is to give the big moralizing speech at the end, but because she's a woman, you don't respect her authority as the Doctor the same as you do when it's Matt Smith or David Tennant or Peter Capaldi. That's the only reason you could possibly have.
Look like a white savior to you? That's problematic. But we still have one more season that could be split into two, with the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, and her lone...
He's really trying to make that stick, isn't he? Nah.
...companion, Yaz. And the question has to be asked, if nobody watches a television show, did it really happen? But at least they got rid of all those nasty men. Briefly, let's go check out the HBO Max interview with David Tennant, Matt Smith, and the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call...
Yeah, we get it. You call her Dr. Karen. Jesus Christ.
Dr. Karen.
He's really trying to make that a meme. If you try and force a meme, it's not gonna work. Memes are memes. You don't force that stuff.
Now stay with me on this one, because this could provide some context. While saying I'm sure Jodie Whittaker, Matt Smith, and David Tennant are all buddy-buddy, but notice what Matt Smith brings up unsolicited.
The thing I miss, the one thing, I think we've talked about it, David, before, like the one thing I miss is the Christmas special.
Yes!
It's great on Christmas. You know, that's just fantastic, and it's always such a great story, but it's, yeah. It's a great thing to pass on, isn't it? It's a great sort of gift to go, good luck.
Why do you think she's mad about that? That wasn't Jodie Whittaker's decision to make it a New Year's special. That's on Chibnall. Who cares?
Yeah.
Be good, but not too good.
Do well-ish.
Wow, was that a dig at the BBC?
If I want to start Doctor Who, where should I start? Would I need to go all the way back? Start with 2005, Rose, it's called. It's the first episode of New Who. Because there's Classic Who and there's New Who. Classic Who started in, like, 1962. This is the longest-running sci-fi series of all time. And you can go back and watch that stuff later if you want, but it's a little dry nowadays. So it's a good place to start in the 2005 series Rose. It's Series 1. You can find it on, like, HBO Max. It might be on other streaming services in different parts of the world. I don't know. But you can find it somewhere. Start there. And if it's not working for you, then maybe jump ahead to the 5th series where Matt Smith becomes the Doctor. And that's another jumping on point that is a little bit maybe more accessible to a modern audience, considering it's a little bit later. But yeah, either Series 1 or Series 5. I'd recommend Series 1 with Christopher Eccleston, though, first.
I think so, but you decide in the comments. You know, it hasn't been determined which day Revolution of the Daleks is going to air. It sounds like it's going to be in 2021 on New Year's Day.
Called the Revolution of Dalek. Yeah. Of the Dalek.
No,
I thought it was Revolution of the Daleks. Now it's Revolution of the Dalek? Oh yeah, you know what? I don't care. Now they were asked...
I mean, you brought it up, and you're trying to be snarky, so you clearly care.
The question, if you could bring anybody back from the show, who would you bring back? And David Tennant answered this question perfectly.
I'd bring back William Hartnell, who played the first Doctor in 1963, and I'd bring him back and go, look at this! Look, still going!
They did that. They did that in the Peter Capaldi Christmas special, which was very good.
Oh, Lord. We're all still here. Is he here?
I can't say the video was all bad because it featured Matt Smith and David Tennant, and we all miss them both. And as far as HBO Max being a big savior for this show, please keep in mind that Netflix had Doctor Who during its peak here in the States and let it go. Amazon Prime had it and let it go. And to repeat the good news, the rumor is that this is the last season for the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, and...
Yeah, we get it. Stop trying to force the meme, guy.
Chris Chibnall. Again, this season could be split into two, either a 13A, 13B situation, or season 13 and season 14. Again, that remains to be seen. The thing I want to caution everyone on is getting your hopes up. I want you to look around you, look at those events.
It probably will be your last season. The vast majority of Doctors leave after 3 or 4 seasons. That sounds about right.
Of the last 3 to 4 weeks. My source can confirm that not everyone is happy with the direction of Doctor Who, and despite what the BBC says publicly, they are not happy with the ratings. But they are very happy with the show editorially. I have no doubt that they are very happy with the agenda that they have infected this show.
The show doesn't have an agenda. If they're talking about editorially, they're talking about, like, the production quality of the show, which is the highest it's ever been. Like, as much as you might not like the writing, and I get that, I don't think Chibnall's a very good Doctor Who writer at all, but, like, the episodes he doesn't write, there was some really good ones, and the production quality is amazing. Like, it looks like a, you know, like any modern TV show now with a huge budget. It looks really good. Like, I even like the interior of the TARDIS that they have now. I didn't like it. It took a while for me to, like, warm up to it, but it's fine.
Show with, and they are very concerned about all of you problematic ist and phobe viewers who are not as enlightened.
Dude, stop watching Doctor Who. Please get out of the fandom. You're clearly an asshole. Like, I don't understand what people like this even got out of the show. If he even watches it. He might not. It doesn't seem like he does. I feel like if you asked him questions about it, he'd be like, I don't know. So why are you even acting like you're some big fan who's offended by it if you don't know anything about the show? Very odd.
As Chris Chibnall and the writers at the BBC.
I mean, I'm not kicked out of the club yet.
The key word there is yet, but it looks like Jodie could be on her way out. Time's up. And as far as Chris...
Again, and she would have had the same number of seasons as Matt Smith. That's not abnormal.
Chibnall is concerned, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And
I do want Chibnall to leave, but that's just because I don't think he's a very good showrunner.
Let's be real about this. This show is bleeding viewers, bleeding ratings on both sides of the pond. I don't know how it's doing in the rest of the world, but I can't imagine it's doing much better. How many times have you seen a show 12 seasons in bounce back? Never? Currently, Doctor Who already has one upcoming episode filmed, unfortunately. The late 2020, early 2021 festive special. Doesn't look like there's going to be a Christmas special. Revolution of the Daleks, Jody, with Series 13 shooting previously rumored to be kicking off around September 2020 if Davies is correct and socially distanced filming rules still apply by that time. It could be that Who fans have to wait even longer for new episodes than previously thought. Oh no! So let's hope they just keep kicking that can down the road. That's all I've got for now. Please remember, these are rumors. They need to be taken with a grain of salt, and I want everyone to have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you liked what you heard. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long, and I will see you in the next video.
Nerderotic.com.
Wow, what a weirdo. It doesn't even seem like he's a fan of the show. I don't know. I feel like if you asked him questions about it, he wouldn't know. And again, he's got like a thing where she's got like googly eyes. He covers this, you know, a couple of times. But it seems like his one thumbnail joke is putting googly eyes on Jodie Whittaker for some reason. Oh, he does review the new episodes. Let me see. Let me go back. Did he used to review it before Jodie Whittaker? Or is it entirely based upon... Did he start watching it then so he could, like, bitch about Jodie Whittaker? Ooh, boy, he almost makes as many Brie Larson videos as The Quartering does. That's pretty impressive. I'm just going back to see if he also reviewed Capaldi episodes or if he only started when it was Jodie. There we go. Okay. He reviewed episode 1 2 years ago, so it looks like 2 years ago he started watching the show. He's probably caught up by now. Fair enough. It does make me wonder if he started watching the show 2 years ago, specifically so he could bitch about Jodie Whittaker, though. It's almost like he realized, ooh, they're making a female doctor? I don't know what that means, but if I start reviewing the show and I get to know about it, then I can bitch about it. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. So thank you, everyone, for hanging out for this special edition of Chud Watch. I gotta find a better name, because it's like Chud Watch, but it's like specifically like Chud stuff that involves media, and I need to figure out a better name for it. What do you guys think? You got any ideas? Like Chud, something maybe with pop culture in the name, but it also has to include Chud, media Chuds. I gotta come. I'm bad at snappy titles. Anyway, thanks everyone. I really appreciate Mudwatch. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Chat is valid as always. I'll probably be back to stream a little bit tomorrow. I'm not sure what, but I shall be back. Maybe we'll do Sovereign Citizens tomorrow. Pop Chudshire. Ooh, that's a force. That's a pretty big force. Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Misogynist media. That's not bad. Although sometimes they're racist, so. Yeah, tomorrow there's a debate. So, anyway, thanks everyone. Have a good night.